It's time for Twig This Week in Google. I'm back. Ant is here. Ant Pruitt, Jeff Jarvis, Stacey Higginbotham. So are Alphabet's earnings. Kind of a bad news thing, but it sure helped Alphabet in the stock market up to 8% at the time of recording. Instagram is terrible. It's not just us that agree, so does the head of Instagram. Plus, Mark Zuckerberg says it's time to turn up the heat for employees at Facebook. It's all coming up next on Twig.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twig.
This is Twig. This Week in Google, episode 674, recorded Wednesday, July 27th, 2022. Happy Leap Schmear. This episode of This Week in Google is brought to you by ClickUp, the productivity platform that'll save you 1 day a week on work, guaranteed. Use code TWIG to get 15% off ClickUp's massive unlimited plan for a year, meaning you could start reclaiming your time for under $5 a month. Sign up today at clickup.com. But hurry, this offer ends soon. It's time for Twig, This Week in Google, the show where we cover the latest news from Google and all the other Googleverses and Twitterverses and Metaverses. And Ant Pruitt's here, hands-on photography. Hello, Ant. Good to see you.
Hello, Mr. Laporte. You too, sir. Good to see you back.
Yeah, well, as you might notice, I am actually not in the big room, sitting in the big chair. I am doing this in quarantine from my office because Madame Rhoda paid a visit during the cruise.
On your cruise ship?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No.
Moose. He got it
Being
from a moose.
sarcastic. That's Stacey Higginbotham. Stacey on IoT, the IoT podcast. Hello, Stacey. Lovely
Hello,
to see
all.
you. And joining us from the Leonard Tao Professor of Journalistic Expertise from the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the Center City University of New York and the director of the Town Night Center.
Miles away from the Blood and Ketchup Tour in golf at Bedminster.
MBS's Splinter Golf Club, right? This is his response to the PGA. Golf is so boring. There's nobody's chopped up
Let's
with
turn it into a
chainsaws.
violent sport.
Yeah. All right.
Take down the lower third now. All right.
Hello, Jeff. So I am
Sick of myself.
in sequestration in my office because I was wearing an N95 mask, but clearly I should have been wearing this big giant respirator instead, which I'm wearing now.
I am your father.
The good news is because I'm vaxxed and boosted twice, even though I'm pretty sure it was BA5, it was like a cold. It wasn't bad. Lisa, on the other hand, it's lingering. She might have long COVID. She's not doing well. So it's not worth the risk. I got to tell you.
So good news for Lisa if she wants it.
Yes.
I got hit pretty hard by what I think was a BA5 or 4 variant.
Yeah.
And I was having like super long COVID symptoms. Like I was only good for like 3 or 4 hours a day. But about 8 weeks afterwards, I'm back to normal.
8 weeks? You think that's good news?
Ooh, wow.
Well, it's not like 6 months.
No, it's only like 2 months. No.
But like now I
Took
can
you
breathe
that
normally.
long?
And
Yeah, because she's had
and
brain
my-
fog. She's had a high fever. We both got pretty congested, cold-like symptoms, sore throat and congestion. But I recovered a little faster, I think. Knock on wood, I think it's cyclical, right? You can go read through late relapses.
You can, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I did test on before I came in yesterday, and still had some virus in the bloodstream. But I will test again in a couple of days. Maybe I'll be all right. Anyway,
Well, Joe Biden's over it now.
I want whatever the president got. Actually, you know who holds the record, at least by his recount? Alex Lindsay of MacBreak Weekly. He got it. He said, yeah, I had it for 3 hours. 3 hours?
The man's resilient.
He
I
said,
thought you
that's
were
what
going
he
to say
said.
Dvorak.
Dvorak will never get it. Anyway, I'm mad at you guys. Thanks to Jason Howell for filling in because everybody comes up to me on the boat saying, "Oh, Twig was great this week. It was so funny. You guys they were so good." And I'm going, I feel like Wally Pipp here.
Who's Wally Pipp?
No, you're not Wally
Pipp?
Pipp. No, you're not Wally Pipp.
That's a
You're
reference
good.
even
You're
I don't
safe.
get.
You don't get that?
It must be
Baseball.
sports. I bet it's sports.
It's
Baseball.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, because
Wally
Ant
Pipp.
knows and Leo knows.
Wally
Okay.
Pipp was the first baseman for the New York Yankees, got beamed by a ball, got a migraine headache, told the coach, "I'm going to take the day off." Coach said, "All right, we got this young rookie. We'll put him in first base." His name was Lou Gehrig. He stayed at first base for the longest streak in over 3,000 games, and no one ever heard of Wally Pipp again.
Who was the fifth Beatle?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the fifth Beatle. Anyway, thank you for, in all sincerity, for
Jason
doing
did
a
a
great
great
show. And thank you, Jason. And I guess you guys had a
Yeah.
wonderful time. So, big story today is a Google story. Alphabet earnings are out. And we were talking earlier on Windows Weekly about Microsoft's earnings, and Microsoft's ad sales were down big time. And, all the companies, Microsoft, Apple, saying, headwinds from COVID, from the global recession, from a supply chain shortage, et cetera, et cetera. Google probably less hit by a supply chain shortage than anybody, although they still have, network servers and so forth. But
They still got to build their own gear.
yeah. And in the call yesterday, this is from Reuters, a trio of Alphabet executives sounded caution on a call with investment analysts using the word uncertain or uncertainty 13 times to describe the economy. YouTube ad sales grew at their slowest pace since disclosures began in 2018, but did grow. Alphabet shares, like Microsoft shares, went up more than 5% after the results.
7% I just looked at.
Wow.
Today.
The market loved it. And the good news, according to Google, was share of ad sales in search went up 14% in search ad sales during the second quarter, beating the street, $40+ billion revenue in search ad sales. And one of the reasons Google says it was good is because people are traveling again and they're shopping again. And so travel and retail advertisers powered that, which makes sense.
So it's not 40 billion, but Google Cloud revenue was also up. It was up 36% from the year before to 6.3 billion. So
Got to put that in perspective.
And Cloud is a little. Yeah, I'm saying it's only 6.3 of the overall. How many billion did they report?
Yeah, well, of course, Mary Jo Foley immediately said, well, compare that to Microsoft Azure, which is over 25 billion, right?
Yeah, Azure's like over 25 billion.
Yeah.
And Azure actually, their server and cloud revenue increased 26%. So
Google growing
Google's
more.
coming up from but it's a way smaller number.
Right.
Azure is number 2 in the cloud wars, and Google is like a distant third.
So shares are now up 8.18%. On Google stock.
Jesus, since I checked 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, so the market likes it. Even though second quarter profit fell, they only made $16 billion. In 3 months.
Daggone it.
That's barely
Bless their
$5
heart.
billion a month. That's barely a billion and a quarter a week. Nevertheless, the market says, well, we think that Google might have a future, or Alpha. I'm sorry, I should say Alphabet. Yeah.
I think what's happening with all the tech companies is they're using this as an excuse to lay off.
That's exactly right. Everybody. Spotify just said they're going to lay off 10%.
And they killed Car Thingy, which never made sense in the first place, and took a $30 million write down on it. But sure.
Car Thingy was what, Stacey? What was Car Thingy?
It was a piece of hardware, a dedicated hardware for Spotify that you'd put on your vent in your car, and you'd plug it in. And
It's like the thing Amazon did, right?
Yeah.
Didn't
and
Amazon do
it was
something similar to that?
Yeah, they had an Echo Auto. I still have one. The Echo Auto was a terrible piece.
Terrible.
Car Thingy was actually good.
Terrible.
But really weird. Like, why? Like, we still don't know. Spotify says they learned a lot from it.
They learned a lot.
But
It's
it
interesting.
still took a $30 million write down.
Spotify, Snap, some of the smaller companies really suffering on the market with the economic woes. Microsoft, Google, we'll see. Apple's coming out tomorrow.
Amazon tomorrow, I think, too.
Amazon tomorrow. This is the big week for quarterly earnings. The Guardian says Google's earnings signal company weathering slowdown better than expected. So that's apparently what the street is saying. Hey, it could have been worse.
Yeah. Let's celebrate.
I don't know all of this micro financial stuff, but when they said that they're talking about uncertainty 13 times or something like that, is that a way of sort of hedging their bets for the analysts?
Well, there's two things that happen, and you probably, Stacey, could explain this better than me. There's two things that happen in these quarterly results and these analyst calls. First of all, they're going to tell you how they did so far. But then, really, the market reacts more to, they then predict what their next quarter is going to be like. Right, Stacey?
Mm-hmm.
So the market's saying, well, okay, yeah, you didn't do as badly this quarter, and next quarter, maybe things are going to look up.
But they're also sandbagging.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we talked about that on
that's
rise up.
Right.
You can't
but is that
sandbag
legal?
too much. No.
Is that
So
Yes.
Apple. Okay. I'd love to hear what you think, Stacey. We talked about this on Tuesday on MacBreak Weekly, which is Apple for a long time did sandbag. I mean, clearly. Analysts would always come in low. Apple would outperform, and the stock would go up. It is supposed, although there's no concrete evidence, that the SEC at some point came knocking on Tim Cook's and Luca Maestri, their CFO's door, and said, you can't be doing that anymore. Because the SEC, it is the SEC
It is
wants you to
illegal
be
to lie.
honest. Yes.
Yes. And, that is true. But you can infer things and you can lead people to think things that would maybe lead them to different conclusions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, the SEC seems to be a toothless tiger these days.
Yeah.
There's this thing called non-GAAP reporting. Generally accepted accounting practices, you would think, would be generally accepted. But a lot of companies now do non-GAAP performance.
You still have to report for your SEC and your 10Ks and 8Ks and stuff. You still have to use GAAP accounting for that.
Yeah, but
that's in your financial statements. You still have
interesting.
To put those in.
But the headlines often report non-GAAP.
That's
results.
Reporters being silly. That's because reporters don't know their EBITDA from their net profits from,
You don't know your EBITDA from a hole in the ground.
Yeah, I was going to go to a very profane level.
Well, would have been a good title. I wish you had. Nope. They don't know their EBITDA from Shinola.
Yeah.
Jeff will get that one. Jeff, are you old enough to remember Shinola?
Yeah.
and what it was distinct from? I'm going to stop trying so hard. I feel really the pressure of last week's show over my head here. The humor.
You're sick. Just rest and let us,
I'll let you carry the
Don't
weight.
pressure yourself.
Also, somebody in the chat room saying I look like I'm at the little kids table because I have too much headroom. Which is
Matt's headroom rim shot.
I'm going to fix my headroom. Facebook will have results soon. Mark Zuckerberg, and I love this. The Verge got a recording of Mr. Zuckerberg's all hands meeting. And there's a little editorializing going on here, but I'm going to read it anyway because it's so well done.
Was it Nile?
He's good at that, isn't he? No, Alex Heath and David Pierce, right?
Okay, they are still good, but Nile is like my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Nile. Mark Zuckerberg stared into his webcam, trying to make yet another remote meeting seem urgent. Since Facebook started, he'd made a habit of frankly addressing employees directly at a weekly Q&A. Almost no topic was off limits. But as the company grew, these sessions had become more scripted. He stopped showing up every week, letting other executives field the most upvoted questions submitted by employees. But June 30th, the raw Zuckerberg persona was back. Well, that's almost a month ago. I guess they only just got the recording. Sometimes he sounded like a general preparing his troops for the war ahead. Other times he was the wunderkid visionary, but mostly he just seemed annoyed. The first question. Hi, I'm Gary. I'm located in Chicago. Will Meta days, extra days off introduced during the pandemic, will they continue in 2023? Zuckerberg appeared visibly frustrated. That's a lot for a robot to appear visibly frustrated.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's a
It's also a
line of
terrible
code.
intro question. Oh my gosh.
I know, that's
would
the
be
first
irritated
one.
too.
And by the way, in
We
case
have
you're
to
wondering,
work so much.
they're not going to, he says, all right. He just explained he thought the economy was heading for one of the worst downturns we've seen in recent history. That's the quote. He was already freezing hiring in many areas. TikTok's eating their lunch. It would take over a year and a half, Zuckerberg had said, before they had line of sight to overtaking TikTok. And Gary was asking about extra vacation days. Given Zuckerberg,
I'd be upset too.
yeah,
I'd be angry
Zuckerberg
too.
said,
"Come on, people."
Given my tone and the rest of the Q&A, you can probably imagine what my reaction is, Zuckerberg said. After this, Meta days were canceled. Yeah, everybody is saying to the troops, saying to the market, saying to the press, it's going to be a tough time ahead. Yeah. Meta, though, seems to always react poorly.
That's because they are a robot. They don't.
They really
think about
are.
people in
Yeah,
terms of
they are.
Yeah.
people.
The latest kerfuffle, I don't know, did you talk about this last week? The Kardashians?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
Kylie Jenner?
I don't think.
Go ahead.
Did they start? Did they post it?
No, it was
beforehand?
after last week. Otherwise, we would have been on the news because we're always on the news. It happened afterwards.
The Kardashians, including Kylie Jenner, hate the new Instagram. Kim and Kylie say, make Instagram again. Stop trying to be TikTok. I just want to see cute photos of my friends. Signed, sincerely, everyone.
Yes.
1.1 million likes on this one.
Yeah, y'all can make fun of
Ant,
this.
the
I know
photographer,
some
is
people
agreeing
would-
with them.
I am too. It's
Yeah.
awful.
We can't all have the same social, like I use Twitter for one thing, I use Instagram for another. You can't have everything. And though their opinion matters, partially because they have a huge follower network.
Kylie
but
Jenner
also
has 360 million followers.
yeah, she's important.
Wow.
And then also, are they? I get it. You know, they've got a TV show, right? They've got their Hulu show.
Yes, it's back,
And
baby. Just when you thought it was safe.
Not everybody's into videos, and there's lots of Instagram creators who are like, video. It's so different. And it seems unfair to pull the rug out from under people all the time, you know?
Plus, Facebook has done how many pivots to video in the past?
Yeah, I was about to say, plus, how many pivots to video do we need?
So
The problem is Instagram it started as photography. It built this reputation off of photographers putting content out there that people enjoyed. You know, yes, there were regular, quote unquote, regular people posting things, but the professional photographers went out there and really made it captivating and tried to build community off of it. And now you're telling those photographers to kick rocks, basically.
You're
because
just a whiny,
pushing all their
bitter
stuff
lensman.
down.
So get ready.
How about you stop that?
Whiny, bitter
I don't
lensman.
think photography was like, I don't think photographers were a big part of Instagram. I thought Instagram was just a fun social network where you saw pictures of your friends doing
Well, people who liked
Right.
pictures liked
People
it.
that like pictures.
Yeah. I liked it because I would post my pictures. In fact, I remember in the early days of Instagram being offended when people would do pictures not from their camera phone, but from their DSLR, you know, their fancy cameras.
Yeah.
But that became the thing. You would post your best pictures. I know you do, Ann. So do
Yep.
I.
Yep.
Now it's all videos, right? But get ready because Instagram CEO Adam Mosseri responded to Kylie and Kim. Where did he respond? You'd think Instagram, maybe? No, Twitter. Here's his video. Adam Mosseri, who is importantly, by the way, not Kevin Systrom or one of the founders of Instagram, but a Meta guy brought in when the founders left in a huff.
He's former head of newsfeed, very high up in Facebook, and now he's the boss.
And
Smart
here
guy.
he is
on Instagram.
responding.
Experimenting with a.
By the way,
There's a lot.
Adam, get
there's
a
lot
microphone.
going on.
Adam, get a microphone. What are you, Adam? First, you're posting on Twitter, and now Get a microphone.
There's a lot going on Instagram right now. We're experimenting with a number of different changes to the app. And so we're hearing a lot of concerns from all of you. So I wanted to take a few moments and clarify a few things. One is, if you're seeing a new full-screen version of a feed, or you're hearing about it, know that that is a test. It's a test to a few percentage of people out there, and the idea is that a more full-screen experience, not only for videos, but for photos, might be a more fun, engaging experience.
What?
But I also want to be clear, it's not yet good.
Wait a minute, what? It's not yet good.
And we're going to have to get it to a good place if we're going to ship it to the rest of the Instagram.
Everybody's seeing it, Adam. I don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
I don't see it.
Small percentage? Boy.
Well, wait a minute. Let me go to my Instagram feed, because these days, you think I'm seeing something different from what you're seeing?
I don't see anything on Instagram because I'm locked out of my Facebook account and I don't care to get it back.
Oh, nice.
I see basically reels all the time, right? That's
I
all
see
the time.
some videos, but I see more photos than videos.
Oh, so maybe there is. Okay, so maybe there is a difference.
Yeah,
you're right.
More videos than I used to, by all means, yes. But
So this is funny because I'm on the web, and you're right. It's all stills. As soon as I go to my phone, boom, it's all video.
Okay.
It's all video.
That's right.
It's
That's
all
what I was
stuff
doing
like
too.
this. TikTok video, vertical video with captions and TikTok-y things. And this looks just like
Look at the
Hey.
first thing I see on my, can you see this?
TikTok.
Here's the first thing I see on my Instagram feed.
Me and Lisa sticking her tongue out.
Oh, see, that's
I'm
great.
so
That's
sorry.
someone you actually follow that's showing up.
And
as the
here's
very
Adam's-
first thing. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
Adam is on Instagram too.
Oh, he
His
is?
video.
Okay.
Next thing I see is his video.
Oh, all right. There he is. In his,
Yeah, so he
by the way,
cross-posts.
using the Zay Frank editing style. You said it was edited a lot. I think that's intentional. That comes from 20 years ago when a guy named Zay Frank, who's a wonderful fella, figured out that if he edited out all the blinking, his videos would be very compelling. But
Whatever happened to say?
Zay
Yeah.
ended up going to work for a food channel. He invented. I can't do it. You got to edit this out.
You can't do it.
He invented the top-down food thing. It's not Tastemade. I can't remember who he's doing videos for. But he invented the modern way of showing food on
What?
Yeah, on like Insta and Facebook and all that. The
Say more
top-down where it's fast and they do a recipe and they swirl and stuff. Yeah, Zay Frank invented that.
okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
I know who.
I mean, he also worked for BuzzFeed for some time.
Yeah, it was the BuzzFeed food thing, whatever that is.
They created a platform called Tasty.
Tasty, that's it.
Oh, so he did Tasty. That's BuzzFeed's. That's
He
BuzzFeed's.
invented the Tasty style. All right, I'm going to show you a Tasty. Let me see if I can. No, I don't know. I'm not going to show it to you.
No.
I don't know why I'm getting.
What is in your search?
Cartoons. Tasty.
He left in 2019.
Oh, now he's doing Disney Junior, I guess. No, that's 2008. What is Zay Frank doing?
That's what I asked. You have no answer.
Well, you're on Wikipedia.
Welcome to our stream of consciousness, where we talk about Google and whatever else floats across our minds.
So what else did Missouri say?
I stopped the video. I was so bored. I didn't.
His last on zayfrank.com, his last thing was 2012.
What?
Okay, so they're testing this out. Don't get mad at them, Kim. Lay off. Chill, Kylie.
We're just trying.
You can still put, photos of your lip plumper working. It'll be great.
And
All right.
And we know it's not good. I mean, we know that. So,
This is a weird place to stop.
And I loved.
But that's very googly of them to just throw out stuff that's already pretty craptastic for the public to play with. Why not test it internally?
And I think they're testing it more widely than they're admitting. And,
Right.
And was it Vice who said, and the new Instagram will continue until morale improves? Anyway.
But Leo, you should be happy because Mark Zuckerberg on Facebook announced that you're finally going to get the Facebook you want. Too late, but you're going to get
really? What What? What?
They're doing the chrono. They're going to do reels there.
Oh, good.
But and that's going to be the main news feed. But then you can go and do your chrono of just the people you know.
Incidentally, another thing that Zuckerberg said at this meeting, transcribed by The Verge, there are a lot of people at the company who shouldn't be here. And I think the employees went, what? Who? What? Wait, what?
That's the old look to the right and look to the left. One of you won't be here. And
time to trim the fat is what he's saying.
I remember when I matriculated at a fine East Coast university, they did say that 1 in 3 of you is going to flunk out. And little did I know I was the one. So, it was good.
Quite the cautionary tale you are.
Yeah. You see, you could end up as this. Don't, kids, be cool. Stay in school. Yeah. So what they're going to do chronological as the default?
Yeah, that's down under. I put that under quick takes. That's line 47.
Okay.
I don't buy it, sir.
What don't you
buy? If this is the same company that's running Instagram that pretty much said the same thing, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
Instagram says we're going to give you your chronological.
So you are no longer defending
your followers.
You're no longer defending Instagram. You're kind of finally got to the point where
I still go over there because I have a community there. Right. But what I'm noticing is a dip in my community engagement. And at first I thought it was just me, but it's not just me. And so I started to dig into it a little bit more, looking at my analytics and whatnot. And I noticed that they're not even serving my content up. Hold on, I can show you here. Let me cut to my screen on my phone. I can show you.
What is that, a necktie bottle opener?
Yeah, you don't have a bottle
That's
opener
very
on your
dressy.
desk, sir?
That's very dressy. I like it.
What? I thought everybody had one on their desk. Let me see if I can make it focus here. But there's like this image here. I have like 3,000 followers or whatever. How come it's only reaching 1,000 accounts and only reaching 800 of my followers?
Yeah, that's very frustrating.
That's stupid. I put a post up on the stories just to test it out yesterday, or maybe it's the day before. And it's just a random phrase that I know only a few people would get. And one person answered it, and they literally said in the message, "We thought you were off of Instagram." Just like that. Why is that? If you actively follow someone on any of these platforms, shouldn't it be prioritized that the people you follow are the first thing you see in your feed?
Well, they know you're complaining about them, Ant, and they're getting back at you. You got to behave. You got to behave.
It pisses me off. I'm totally fine with algorithms helping me to discover other things.
Yeah,
but not at the mercy of me losing out on people that I actively want to see.
Your post on Twitter here, this really bugs me. If someone follows an account, that followed account should be prioritized in their view.
Yeah.
And I think that's completely reasonable.
You're right.
Salt Hank has almost 1 million followers on Instagram. But by the way, this
matters not whether it's photo or video, because I'm noticing it on my reels as well. My reels are doing fairly well from a view standpoint.
Yep.
But my people that follow me, they're not seeing my reels. It's a bunch of other weird accounts and bots and things that are popping in there.
And honestly, I think this is clearly the TikTokification of Instagram. I mean, that's what TikTok is, right? You don't get who you follow on TikTok, even when you go to the following tab.
Ant, you're sounding like me. Oh, you're doing angry noises.
Jeff, you need a moral panic sign.
Yeah, I need an ant panic. I think it's more than just TikTokification. I think it's also that Facebook has never had a raison d'etre. It never really knew why. We have a whole bunch of people. What are they going to do? Well, they're going to date each other. Then they're going to have a news feed, and then they're going to have videos, and then they're going to live in weird worlds, and then we're going to have videos again. And they never kind of said, this is why Facebook exists. Instagram too. And they don't have that soul to guide them where they go.
So
and it's the same problem with things like the oversight board and all that. It just okay, why are you here? What do you want to do? Do that well. instead of copying and buying things. It's frustrating.
So I'm going to now point you to the article that I'm sure you put in there from Axios by Scott Rosenberg.
Yes, I did.
Tell us first of all who Scott Rosenberg is, because this guy
Scott Rosenberg wrote a he's been around a good long while. He wrote a book about blogging.
He knows what he's
the
doing.
culture of online. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did he start at the Examiner, I want to say, and then his history is quite interesting. But he's certainly
was he? There's too many Scott Rosenbergs.
Yeah, I feel like he was one of the founders of Slate.
Was he Slate?
Yeah,
I think he was. I think he was.
This guy's been around as long, almost as long as you and I have been. He says it's the end of the social network. Marked last week, he writes, as the end of the social networking era, which began with the rise of Friendster in 2003. That's accurate. Remember how quickly Friendster took over? Shaped 2 decades of internet growth, and now closes with Facebook's rollout of a sweeping TikTok-like redesign. Basically, maybe it has also to do with Elon Musk and the Twitter debacle.
Really?
Well, he says the era in which social networking served as most users' primary experience of the internet is moving behind us. That holds for Twitter, Facebook's chief surviving Western rival, as well.
Do you think this will be the rise of the group chat? People have their tiny circle of friends.
I think you're right, Ant. But go ahead. Jeff doesn't. So go ahead, Jeff.
Well, and I think the other thing I'm hearing, I'm curious to hear what you think about this because you are one, is what they keep on talking about is how it's the time for creators. So it's not social; it's moved to creators.
So the
irony is you're a creator and you're angry. The Kardashians,
that's the fork in the road.
They're angry.
That's the fork in the road, because that's what's happening. Is Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube favoring creators? That's going to continue. But I think Ant's right.
That's the moneymaker.
That's going to continue, but that's not one-to-one communication. That's one-to-many communication. That's broadcast.
Right.
That's the
Which
old
is where Scott's saying that's disappearing. So one-to-one is social, and that's going away, is what he's saying, right?
But I think Ant's right. It's not going away. It's going underground, because when you go on Discord, for instance, and I think our Discord for the club is a perfect example, that's a social network.
Clearly.
But it's not public.
I'll agree there. I agree.
You don't know about it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and I think part of it is we all realize that when you turn social content, like social, I'm trying to create a different word for this, but your messages to your friend and family, and you turn those into content. Like when you're talking about your day towards your friends or just towards the general public, you're not thinking of yourself as a content curator necessarily, right? Or
Correct.
a content creator, rather.
Right.
And I think people just got sick of that, unless they're people. This is why journalists love Twitter, is because we're content creators, but we're not the kind of content creators that's creating these highly crafted videos and that sort of thing. We're just like sharing our opinions. So the people who like sharing their opinions have taken over social networks because
influencers.
You're right, they're not social.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even that. It gets you back to like Dunbar's number and everything.
Right.
Like you can't be social to everyone.
Right. You're broadcasting.
And it just took us time.
You're now broadcasting. So
but I think there's another piece here, which is this creation piece. Pardon me for my Jeff history moment. I won't go all the way back to Gutenberg. I'll go to 1600 and Montaigne, the first essayist.
Excuse me.
And what you've read them too. You went to Yale. What Montaigne did.
We've gone to Yale and Montaigne. Good Lord, could we get any snobbier?
I would like to point out I flunked out of Yale. Okay.
So Montaigne, I say in my upcoming book, The Gutenberg Parenthesis, raised the bar for taking part in the conversation. You had to become a writer. And if you were a writer, yes, you could get books published and you could be part of the public conversation. But if you were scared of writing, if you weren't that literate, you were kind of left out for a very long time. What the internet did, I think, was change that. The internet said you can use memes, you can make emojis, you can use emojis, you can make little videos, you can just make posts, you can make tweets. It's all okay. But that wasn't making enough money for folks. So now we're kind of going back to the dime store Montaigne, is that everybody has to be a creator in a new literacy of online.
I have a question for you from the Peanut Gallery. Can we drink if you say Montaigne? Is that okay? Is that part of the?
The problem is I don't think you'll get drunk enough because I won't say it.
He brings it up every show.
Gutenberg
I do not. I've not brought up Montaigne.
You brought Montaigne up last week.
No, I did not.
Which is a lot for a 16th century French essayist. That's all I've got to say. I swear to you, you did.
Jason,
you said it this week.
Did I bring it up last week?
Get him, Stacy.
Jeez. All right. By the way, to confirm what your supposition was, Ant, at the end of his Axios piece, Scott Rosenberg writes, Facebook's sunsetting of its own social network could open a new space for innovation on this turf where relative newcomers like Discord are already beginning to thrive. So that's the question I would have. I mean, I think TikTok's going to survive. I think Instagram might survive.
What about Twitter? Because I love Twitter.
What space is Twitter in? It's
conversation. Twitter is conversation.
It's still public.
You do interact.
It's not social
than Instagram.
Is it social?
Oh, it's
you
social.
Don't think so?
It's social too.
It's definitely social in my book.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're posting on Twitter, it's a hybrid of content creation because you're posting for an audience. You're not posting for your friends, right? That's what Discord is.
It is a total mix.
But I feel like you're posting for your audience. So I feel like on Twitter, you know who you communicate with and you find things that you think.
Well, that's true.
Like when I see but that's not necessarily true of like 60 Minutes. They're posting for an imaginary
But when
audience.
Salt Hank posts to a admittedly large audience, he's posting to his people. And he's very aware of that. The people who like what he does. And influencers. So but it's still broadcast in the sense that...
But he's a creator. Yeah, he's still a creator
you can tell,
in that sense.
Because what you do is you look at how many people follow him and how many people he follows. I don't want to use him as an example.
He produces it.
It's people who are influencers, content creators, follow very few people relative to the number of people who follow them. It is still broadcast. Whereas if you go into Discord... you're following a channel, not even individuals. You're saying, I want to be part, I'm in the Lisp Discord. I'm talking with other Lispers, right? And so that's what you're following is a subject, or though maybe it's your family. Auntie, does your family have a Discord or anything like that where you all talk?
We have a Slack.
We have a
Same
Slack.
Thing. We use Slack.
Yeah.
And it's everybody's following the same thing, and there's different channels in there to talk about different discussions and whatnot.
I would submit that your family's doing that because Facebook no longer served them.
Interesting, yeah. What do you think?
Yes?
Well, for us, it was Hangouts. we wanted a group chat where we could have fun amongst ourselves when we're not all in the same room.
Yeah.
And still just be able to socially chat and not always say, hey, make sure you clean up your room, that kind of thing. Just have conversation.
But that wasn't happening in Facebook. That wasn't happening in Messenger. That wasn't happening in WhatsApp.
Right.
I think it's a social network that is of your Dunbar number, your 150, your people, right? Whether it's family or friends. And that's, to me, more like the future. I don't know. Is it the future of social?
I hope so.
I like it. And then that doesn't leave out
with
creators.
The smaller number.
You can still
I'm fine with the smaller number. You still have your platforms everywhere else. I enjoy what I get out of Twitter because it is, like you said, a bit of a hybrid for someone like me. I don't follow as many people that follow me, and I am either broadcasting or I'm engaging. It's one
do you
another,
use the Twitter website or the Twitter app? What do you use?
Both.
So my experience now with the Twitter app and website is it's so jammed with recommendations, accounts I don't follow. Yeah. It's becoming a lot like Instagram with a lot of crap in it. Yeah. So I use...
A lot of the algorithm stuff does bother me.
It's becoming very algorithmic.
That's why I use lists, man.
So lists or I just showed TweetDeck, which I use because it doesn't have the promoted stuff. This promoted stuff's driving me crazy on the official Twitter feed.
They got to earn money somehow.
Oh, I understand. But
they have to earn money.
Yeah. I understand, but it's getting in the way. So this is, by the way, why Twitter historically has had problems generating revenue.
But that's why, like what Mr. Jarvis said, having a list is definitely helpful. I do that. That's all I do. I check lists all day long.
Yeah.
I hardly ever go in that.
How many lists do you have, Ann?
Anymore.
You check.
Let's see here, because Twitter is open. I think I have like 8.
See, to me, TweetDeck, this is, see what I'm doing with TweetDeck? I have my home, which is my Twitter feed, but then the 2 lists that I'm following are tech VIPs and top 25 tech reporters, but that will change. Those are columns, and they're auto-updating. I don't see promoted tweets. I've been seeing the same tweet for 6 months about Elon Musk is more than just boring tunnels and whatever. It's launching rockets. Here are his 9 favorite books. That same promoted tweet. Do you see it? Is it just me?
No,
it's just you.
It drives me nuts.
My promoted tweets, Twitter knows I'm a woman, and I feel real bad for women. I mean,
yeah, you see what Twitter thinks of women, don't you? Huh?
But it's kind of nice because I'm not that. I mean, I am a woman who does like things that women like, but I don't use Twitter that way. It's weird to me because they're so jarring. It's like how to cook your family dinner, and then I'm back into like networking arguments. Just like,
but that's kind of my complaint as well. Is that the Twitter feed is full of other stuff. So I use TweetDeck because what I use Twitter for may be different from you guys, but I like to use it as a news feed. I don't.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like what's going on, and if you follow the right people or you follow the right lists, then you know what's going on.
On the list.
Yeah.
But when I put something up there, I don't think I'm broadcasting to the world. I think I'm talking to people like a show like this, just exactly like this.
You have but that's broadcasting in an audience when you
no, because I'm waiting for their responses. I'm eager to hear what they say.
It's not necessarily mass.
That's a good point, and it's two-way. That is different. Yeah.
And I'm eager to hear about like what people think.
Right.
And I engage actively in conversations with people too. So
maybe it's the last social network. Maybe Scott Rosenberg is right, but it's also there is one surviving social network.
I think they figured out a way, if they could figure out a way to make money, I think they figured out a fairly decent model. I know you've hated Twitter, but for people who like it, it really like Twitter works for me.
No,
it's a really valuable tool.
I've come around because I think the way I use Twitter has evolved, and so I don't hate it anymore. I don't engage in conversation on it.
There you go.
Which for me is a way of avoiding the negative stuff. You guys get a lot out of your conversations, I guess. And I don't pay much attention to the app mentions. I'm not looking at people talking to me. I'm looking at the broadcasters, I guess.
You're a broadcaster.
Well, no, but you're right. When I
mean,
post on Twitter, it is, hey, we just put out a new show, or it's promotional.
You know what we're not talking about?
What?
Which probably is interesting.
Our advertiser
is LinkedIn.
Oh
no,
I just quit LinkedIn.
Oh, I love LinkedIn.
I just quit it.
What?
Really?
Just because you hadn't yet? It was its turn.
It was his turn.
This is Leo. He's just like, all right, now I'm going to hate on LinkedIn.
There's nothing wrong with LinkedIn, but I'm not looking for
Leo.
work.
You know what? Leo just quit Pointcast.
Yes, everybody should know. I'd like to put out a blog post. No. What's the point of me being on LinkedIn?
Yeah, good point.
Well, so here I actually get a ton. Like I treat LinkedIn almost like a broadcast network for me. Like Twitter is where I talk to people. But LinkedIn, man, my stories, when I post stories on LinkedIn, probably because I'm more technical and
you have value,
not to a broad consumer audience, man, readers love my stuff on
great
LinkedIn.
engagement.
They just
Lisa says the same thing. She gets great engagement, and she loves the articles she gets from LinkedIn. So, So
now, Mr. Laporte, I would say you could still be on still be on LinkedIn, not necessarily because you're looking for a job, but maybe just part of the networking standpoint of growing Twitter more or something.
Yeah, you promote
relationships
to a business audience.
Here's where you're wrong.
Yeah, are you not promoting the shows on LinkedIn?
I don't care.
And you could do like little audio clips. People love those. Those little audio
People love
clips.
that
We
stuff.
have a marketing team. We have a social team. If they want to do that, they can. I do not engage in those kinds of pandering, grasping
I would like this whole
activities.
segment posted on LinkedIn. And could you also insult your LinkedIn audience while doing it? If you're watching this on LinkedIn.
I don't want to be a member of a club that would have me as a member. And I feel that if I have to promote what I'm doing, clearly I'm doing it wrong.
Oh my God! If it's
The world will come to me.
Wow!
I will not go to the world.
No, really, what it is, it's late stage broadcaster. I don't care anymore. I gave up.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore.
I get it.
If I were,
I think it's you're
I
old
totally
and
dig
introverted.
LinkedIn.
I'm old and introverted.
I mean,
another
and grumpy.
way of saying
That's-
it.
And grumpy.
Yeah. Old, grumpy.
I'm introverted, and that's why I use these platforms because I
love them
it's
for that.
easier for me. You know, it's easier for me as an introvert to just broadcast from the keyboard, and it just was way more comfortable versus me going out here in the streets broadcasting myself. You know,
What, in the streets? What are you gonna? Wait a minute. What are you gonna do in the streets?
Wandering
You know
around
what I
Petaluma
mean.
with the signboard.
I got a
Sandwich
picture.
board on.
Today's
I mean, don't get me wrong. I have done my cold calls in my day.
Oh,
and
I don't do that. No.
totally fine with doing cold calls to drum up business, but I am much more comfortable cold calling from the phone or using the keyboard here.
I trained for Fuller Brush salesman and knew it was not for me.
Same.
You did too? Yeah.
I did. I was an insurance agent
Really?
for a few years. I was an insurance agent for.
Really?
So somebody said, if I'm going to have that elitist attitude, I should wear a beret.
Now we're talking.
Now, how much would you pay?
Leo, you got a hair on the beret.
You've got some dog hair action.
Who's been wearing my beret?
I tell you, Leo, but it's your color.
This says inside Vrai Basque, made in France. I need the monocle. Somebody's shouting at me. Get the monocle. All right. I don't know. Does a beret go with a monocle?
No, a monocle goes with a top hat. A beret goes with a jaunty bandana.
Oh, I need a neck scarf. An ascot,
Yes.
if you will. All right.
Ascot.
I'll get that in a moment.
And it must be jaunty.
Jaunty. And a Galois cigarette hanging from my lip. We're going to take a little break because I don't care about you people. And I'm going to go away. Screw you. You Americans make me sick.
Right now, I hear Miss Lisa scream.
No, not into the ad. No.
too real.
Not into the ad. Can we take a little break? Because I do have to do an ad. And when we come back, how funny was last week? Do I need to wear hats, accents, mustaches?
What did we laugh
Yes.
about last week? I can't remember, guys.
I laughed at you most of the time, Mr. Jarvis.
Yeah, there's some honesty.
You and your notion of being just a regular guy, and I'm like, come on, dude, you got a theme song.
Oh, yeah. We talked about AR glasses. We had some good stuff there.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, we did. We had some fun with that. Yeah.
And then
Must listen
FCC
to.
Broad. Yeah. And we didn't talk about Elon Musk. That's what it was, y'all.
Oh, no wonder everybody
That's
was
what
so
it was.
Stacy refused. Was going in. Stacy was walking. If we said anything about any of his bodily fluids, it was not going to happen.
This is true.
Ladies and gentlemen, the truth from Elon Musk. The media is a click-seeking machine dressed up as a truth-seeking machine. Wait a minute, I should say that.
How profound, huh?
I gotta say that in a French accent.
Okay.
No. Don't give him any sort of credit. That's stupid.
Well, it's
That's
stupid. And
offensive and
he
stupid.
is a click-seeking
Some
robot.
of the media.
The
Some of the
media is a click-seeking machine masquerading as a truth-seeking machine. So there. Would you like to see my chest? My naked bare
I
chest?
cannot wait
show
to
it
listen
to
to a GIF.
Which we also didn't do last week.
Pasty white with no hair to be perceived at any point. And if you are a billionaire who would like to hose me down, come on over.
I'm worried that you're feverish, but also this is very good. I just got back from Paris. I'm like, oh, this is excellent.
I do remember one time in Paris, we're at Notre Dame, and there's a taxi stand there, and it starts to rain. Or maybe it was snow. I think it started to snow. And we walk up to the taxi, and we say, can we get a ride? The taxi driver rolls up the window, lights a cigarette, and opens a newspaper and ignores us.
Nice.
It's snowing. I don't drive in the snow.
I respect that.
All right.
You peasants, not getting in my
Peasants.
cab.
Yeah, I will give you a ride, but not when it is snowing. No, sir. You must walk. We did. We walked all the way back to the hotel. Oh, my God.
It wouldn't be peasants. It would be bourgeoisies.
You bourgeoisie.
Bourgeoisies.
You think I am here for you? I am not here to serve you. Ladies and gentlemen, our show today brought to you by the good folks at ClickUp. Wouldn't it be nice if you could get one extra day a week? Just like to do stuff you care about, cooking healthy meals or writing that great American novel, maybe binging some good reality TV, dressing up in costumes and speaking in French accents, whatever it is you would do in your free time. Well, it is possible to get a little free time with ClickUp. ClickUp is a new productivity platform you will love, and it will save you at least a day a week on work. A day a week guaranteed. ClickUp began with the premise that something's broken in productivity. There were too many tools to keep track of. You know this. You've experienced it. Too many things in entirely separate ecosystems. I got this there and that there and there. There has to be a more productive way to get through the daily hustle. ClickUp is the one tool that houses all your tasks, all your projects, your docs, your goals, your spreadsheets, everything. It's all in there. Built for teams, even if you're a one-man show, a one-woman band, or 1,000 plus. ClickUp is for you. It's packed with features and customization options that no other productivity tool has, so you can work the way you work best. Project management? Yes. If you're in engineering? Yes. If you're in sales, you need ClickUp. Marketing? You need ClickUp. HR? ClickUp has easy-to-use solutions for those and many, many more categories that create a more efficient work environment. No wonder more than 800,000 highly productive teams are using ClickUp today. That's a big number. You know what? Do this for me. Go to clickup.com and just browse through all the features. I think, I can't explain in one ad all the things ClickUp can do for you, but you can go to the webpage and see it. And if you're there, use the code TWIG, T-W-I-G. You'll get 15% off ClickUp's massive unlimited plan, and not just for a week or a month, but for a whole year. For a whole year. That brings it down to under $5 a month. Reclaim, wouldn't it, to get a day extra every week worth $5 a month to you? That's like $1.25 a day. That's nothing. Sign up today. ClickUp.com, C-L-I-C-K-U-P. Click up, get it, right? .com. Offer code is TWIG. Please use that so they know you saw it here. And so that you get that great deal, 15% off their unlimited plan. But hurry, this offer ends soon. ClickUp.com, because we can all use a little more time to enjoy life, get stuff done. Thank you, ClickUp, for supporting This Week in Google. Aunt Pruitt, Jeff Jarvis, Stacey Higginbotham, who ran off to get a waffle. I saw that. You think because I'm not in the big studio?
I was putting clothes in the dryer.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So that's your air fryer for waffles. I know it's a new way to cook them.
I put clothes in the dryer. Yeah.
It's not waffle time yet. Waffle time hits around 4:15. That's an hour out.
Waffle time. Well, all right.
Later on, we might well learn how to use a paper bag and a hairdryer to air fry a pizza from prison, but we'll get to that later.
Is it a TikTok?
Of course, yes.
You in TikTok.
You in TikTok.
I'm the future, right? I was on TikTok before Zuckerberg discovered it. I'm there on TikTok. I'm part of the future.
I think it's not important, but since we're here, I'll bring it up. There have been a couple of stories this week about TikTok. One using its now gone news feed to feed Americans disinformation. And there's now this is a story from Gizmodo. Leaked documents from within TikTok reveal how the company games out responses to tricky questions. In other words, how they handle PR. It's a PR trove of PR documents. Gizmodo got it. TikTok master messaging and TikTok key messages. Both are explanations of press talking points in English. They include a version translated into an unnamed European language.
Like it's a secret language?
Well, Gizmodo's not naming the language to protect the sourcing of the document.
Finland's a small place.
Yeah, right. What do you mean? I do not have any documents. What? The larger of the two, a 53-page TikTok master messaging document. Actually, I would love to see this. I don't think it's an indictment of TikTok. Every company.
No, everybody has.
I was going to say, doesn't every big company do something like this?
Yeah, and you have Q&As about what are the questions we're most vulnerable to?
Yeah.
What are our answers to? Sure, they all.
So, among other things, you could completely predict this. Downplay the parent company ByteDance. Downplay the China Association. It's owned by China. Downplay AI. Emphasize TikTok as a brand/platform. Employees should stress that although young people love TikTok, this is exactly the PR speak. You can see it coming from their mouths. Although young people love TikTok, the app is only for users aged 13 and above. Because of course.
Well, that's an admission. Wait, that's an admission that people under 13 are using it, because how else would they know that they love it?
Love it. Yeah. I don't know. I'm a little biased. And I know you are too, Jeff. We love TikTok. I could see the potential if they're starting to feed me Chinese propaganda.
Right.
But you know what?
What if they're convincing you to take Tide Pods?
Which, by the way, is complete moral panic, right?
Yes,
I know
that. This is local news media, especially local TV, loves this. Oh, kids are eating Tide Pods thanks to TikTok. None of this is really what's going on TikTok.
No.
I mean, the misinformation I see on TikTok is the same misinformation
everywhere.
I can find on podcasts,
Twitter,
YouTube,
and newspapers and magazines.
Because it's human beings spreading it.
Yeah. So one of the people, actually, the fun thing about the cruise is to get to meet our audience. We have a really interesting audience. One of the people in our audience, and he came down in his dress uniform at the fancy meal, works for the Army. I said, well, what do you do? He says, I'm in human. I said, what? Human
intelligence.
Human intelligence. I said, oh, that's interesting. He said, yeah, I was at Abu Ghraib. I was an interrogator. Whoa.
You're very nice to you, sir.
Later today, we'll do a demonstration on waterboarding and its uses. But he was a sweet guy, really nice guy. He was not torturing people, I'm pretty sure. He would work with an interpreter. He said, you get a lot of people who want to tell you stuff, so you talk to them. And you get the information.
Was there being waterboarded?
Well, no, I don't think he was torturing anybody. He was too sweet a guy. But he did say, in a darkly ominous tone, that civilians have no idea the depths that foreign governments are going to subvert our democracy, to subvert our beliefs, to create dissension and chaos in this country using, a variety of techniques, social media and so forth, and the platforms. Yeah. I mean, this isn't an eye-opener. But
they're going after the vulnerable who are already leaning that way, and they push them.
Exactly.
They don't push everybody. They push a very few, and a very few spread the disinformation.
That's all it takes. All you have to do is go to a Trump rally.
Then it gets amplified on media.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know what, though? I'm more and more convinced, whatever that number is, the 30% that are mush minds have always been that way.
Yes.
And always will be that way.
Yes.
And will always be susceptible, but it doesn't take Russia or China to do it.
Heck, it can be.
And also, Elie Mystal points out that we have a constitution that enables that 30% to end up running the country.
Well, there is a problem there, and a problem that should be probably structurally fixed, which is that we do have a minority rule situation in the U.S. Now it's even more dramatic because we essentially have a Supreme Court that is there for life, that is unelected that is essentially going to change the face of American life. But let's not talk about that.
Let's talk about pink sauce.
We were saying before,
pink sauce.
We were saying before the show, but I want to reiterate that recommendation which Jeff gave us during the cruise. I was reading Allow Me to Retort, Elie Mystal, Mystal's stunning book, A Black Guy's Guide to the Constitution.
You were listening to it.
I was listening to it, recommended on Audible because his voice is amazing. And it's very powerful, very, very hard to disagree with.
Absolutely.
Highly recommended. Mystal, Allow Me to Retort on Audible. It's very good. Stacey, is there anything better than pink sauce?
Yes.
How about this? How about some Google news? So you remember the, what was he, Wiccan? The engineer slash...
He was a Christian mystic.
Pagan. He was a pagan.
Blake Lemoine, the guy who said, "Oh my God, lambdas become sentient." Well, Google's finally just fired the guy. It's like, no, it's not sentient, and you're not doing us any favors.
You're done.
No,
I have to say I agree with him. Right? I mean,
yeah,
it
was the right move.
It was the right move.
Yeah.
What about this one? This I have a Hello Doorbell. That's the Google Nest Hello Doorbell.
This is trouble.
Is this the CNET story?
Yes.
Yes.
I also had an Amazon Ring doorbell, which I maybe foolishly replaced with the Google Hello Doorbell because we'd heard so much about how Ring was handing over stuff to local police.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now it turns out Google does the same thing without consent.
Yes.
And without warrants. Right, Chris?
Well, okay,
so
this is an important story, and Rye did a great job here. So he talked to a bunch of camera makers, and the two big ones, Google and Ring, when police have what they call emergency orders or emergency requests.
And those are intended to be like somebody's dying. Right.
Right. Like there's a shooting happening right now, or there was a kidnapping or something big. When the police make a request, an emergency request, they don't need a warrant. They don't need a subpoena, and they don't need to tell the user. They just pull the video.
Because no company wants the headline. There was video of this guy being murdered. What was the famous story, Jeff, in New York City where the poor woman was being...
Well, it turned out it was absolutely wrong.
It is false.
Yeah.
It's a false story.
Yeah. Well, then never mind. I won't
Genovese.
Okay. But nobody wants
Kitty Genovese.
Kitty Genovese. Nobody wants that headline.
It was a moral panic of its time that people thought that she was being murdered and nobody stepped in, and that turns out not to be true.
Typical urban legend. But nevertheless,
no one wants to see a 4-year-old get murdered on their Ring camera and find out that the police could have stopped it.
By the way, Google, and thanks to the chat room for putting this up, at 1:45 today released a statement that they shared with 9 to 5 Google. Quote, Google has clarified the company has never exercised its ability to share footage with law enforcement to date. So they haven't done it to date, but feels that it is, quote, important to reserve the right to do so.
But in those kinds of cases, do they limit it to that?
Yeah, in those kinds of cases. So Ring did it 11 times, and they told 11 times last year. They told Senator Markey this in response to a letter that he sent to them. Some things to note about this that I think are really important. Emergency requests are the same thing that hackers abuse to get access to people's private Facebook accounts. They spoofed a police officer's credentials, basically a police station's credentials, and said, hey, we want an emergency request for these accounts. They got access to private photos and then did a extortion kind of thing. So these are not fail-proof or fail-safe or whatever the word I'm thinking of is.
Foolproof?
But foolproof? Nothing is. So that's one. These don't happen often. What's really upsetting is Ring says that they didn't notify the people. So they pulled this data, they shared it with the police, but they didn't tell the camera owner that they did this. Actually, what they said is when asked if they shared this information with the owner, they didn't respond. So that's not great.
Wait a minute. They shared it with the owner, but the owner ignored them.
Sorry, they shared it with the police. But they didn't tell the owner.
That is wrong.
That's wrong.
Right.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it depends on your point of view.
There's no reason that you couldn't save somebody in an emergency and tell the people who own the camera that they use their camera. Those could go hand in hand without any risk.
And they probably should.
Yeah, probably should. Yeah.
And then the other thing to note is Arlo got back to them and they were like, yeah, we don't do that ever.
Nor does Anchor, nor does Eufy, right?
Eufy is Anchor.
That has problems too.
Wise doesn't do it, right?
Wise doesn't do it. So that does have problems. I mean, I guess we could see a 4-year-old getting murdered on their front porch with a Wise cam or a Wise doorbell, which would be terrible. But the other thing, where was I going to go with this? Oh, if you have a Ring doorbell and you do two-way encryption, they can't pull that video. So you could actually stop this by turning on two-way encryption. What's interesting is if you do that with Ring, Ring is very careful to tell you, hey, then you can't send your Ring data to your Ring video camera data to other devices in your home, and certain other features won't work. So most people decide not to do it. Apple.
Is there an associated fee with that encryption?
No, it's free.
Good question, Ant. They'll do that someday soon.
Can I?
Wait, I want to say one thing. Apple lets you, because it's apples to apples or apples to Ring. Apple does encrypted end-to-end video as part of their HomeKit secure video, and they have figured out a way.
Ironically, they don't sell a camera.
Right. But they do work with Logitech and I think Eufy for their stuff.
Oh, okay.
And you can see that on Apple devices within their ecosystem. So they have figured out how to do end-to-end encryption without breaking the features that Ring cannot do. And that could just
What should the policy be, Stacey? What would your prescription be?
If you use emergency, if you answer emergency requests, you should put out a report as a tech company noting when that happens.
A transparency report. I agree.
Yeah, a transparency report.
Yeah.
I do think you should tell the users. Yeah. I can see if the person is a suspect during the emergency.
Good
maybe
point.
You wouldn't want to tell them afterwards.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's some things that we'd have to figure out how that should look. And I think you probably should turn on end-to-end encryption and make it easier. I know that means people can't get it, but if you want surveillance video, then have your municipality go through the public process to get those up.
So we're not saying it's a bad thing for police to say it's an emergency, a child's being abducted. We need that video now, Ring, and for Ring to provide it. We're not saying that's a bad thing, are we? Because I think that's a good thing.
I think it's a good thing.
I don't. I think it creates a network of privately owned but publicly accessible surveillance that could be a problem.
That's an interesting point.
Interesting, Stacey. Yeah. So it's different from the city having a camera in London on damn near every corner. It's the city's camera.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not real fond of that either.
Well, we're not. But so there's actually a really interesting case right now in New Orleans. They had stopped using facial recognition, but like 2 or 3 years ago. But now, because of like an uptick in crime during the pandemic, they voted recently to allow facial recognition on their public cameras. But they did that sort of publicly. The same thing that's happening in San Francisco. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, I think. They're looking to use, actually, San Francisco, they're looking to use private cameras for that. But anyway, the point is, if you want this sort of surveillance, you should have to get that surveillance in a public forum. That's the bottom line for me.
And I don't think people would be so concerned if they trusted police or government. I think the real issue, and it's hard to take me seriously when I'm wearing a lamp.
Yes, it is. Yes.
But my head was cold. The real issue is that we don't trust government or police to do the right thing with this information. Right?
Right.
That's the fundamental issue.
I don't think you could trust anyone to do the right thing. I mean, this is absolute power, which we all know corrupts absolutely.
Yeah. You don't want a surveillance state, so that's part of the problem. But also, and this goes back to Elie Mystel, who really says if you want to solve the problems with police in this country, you simply enforce the Fourth Amendment. The right against unreasonable search and seizure. This is covered by the Fourth Amendment. You have a right to privacy. And people are afraid of what an untamed police force, which in many jurisdictions is the case, will do with the access to this kind of video. All kinds of things, right?
I think this conversation is getting a big boost from things like the Dobbs decision, because now all of a sudden we're recognizing.
What if you're across the street from an abortion clinic, right?
Right. Exactly. So is it an emergency if someone's thinking about having an abortion? Maybe. If you're in Texas, then you're arguing that someone's life is on the line.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. Some unborn fetus's life is on the line. That's exactly right.
I should at least know that it got used once, so I can tear it out and put in an electric button.
What's he talking about?
He's saying
doorbell.
so he takes out
if it has been used,
just use the
Arlo.
Arlo.
Yeah, but again, none of this would be an issue if we trusted police. And because we don't, many people, rightly so, don't, I think, especially if you're a person of color, don't trust police. It doesn't matter what transparency reports or what Google says or what Wise says. This stuff is right. You're taking these videos. It's out there. And so maybe it's a shame that property owners need to encrypt to prevent, unlawful use of this stuff, but maybe we do.
Well, then the next flip, I'll throw this out there because there's tons of TikTok videos of people like showing off people at their doors. Like, we saw this video.
Oh,
and it's fine if it's the homeowner.
Right. Or go into neighborhood.
FedEx guy.
Go into neighborhood, that app, right?
Oof. Yeah.
There's a black man walking up and down the street. Here's the video. Now,
it's not even just like a black person. It's like people like.
It often is, though, in Petaluma. It's like,
often is.
There's some black guy walking around. I don't know if I trust him. That's it. He's taking pictures. Knock it off.
It's why I always wear
He's after your espresso machine.
It's a shame, but Ann has to wear orange. It's a shame.
Because I do not want to look suspicious. I want you to see me out there.
It makes me cry. It's terrible. Wow. It's terrible. And so this is all part of that. And yeah.
Well.
So that's why it's an issue. That's why it's an issue.
It's one of these cases where this is Stacey's line. Something we need to talk about.
Yes.
Because there is a different level here where we'll figure out the norms we expect. We'll figure out what's right and wrong. But we need, it's like Scoble going into the men's room at I.O. with his Google Glass on and people freaking out.
I should say nextdoor.com, not neighbors. Nextdoor.com. Yeah. Phoenix Warren, who is in our chat room and is a person of color, says, if I know that my video could prevent my fellow humans from being hurt, preventing a kidnapping or murder or anything, I'd be more than happy to help. I'd say that much. I agree. We're not saying that.
Yeah.
We're not saying that. No. We're worried more about misuse.
Yeah. And, they have, not in an emergency situation, they can totally use that they can ask you for your data. The police will come to you and be like, there's a form they get to fill out, and Ring talks to you, and you can share, you basically say, yeah, you can have my data to solve this crime. Like, there's a bunch of car thieves. A car was stolen in front of your camera. Can we have access to the footage?
Hey, if I had a video of that, I would share that. Absolutely.
Well, here's the other case, though. If you're a journalist, the norm has been you share with police what you've already shared with the public and no more. Mm-hmm. But there's an argument to say that that's wrong. Look at what's happening on January 6th. If those filmmakers who had followed the Proud Boys and followed the Trumps had said, no, we're journalists, well, you watch our film, that's it, we wouldn't have things that we have. So it's what's your right to withhold in a case of public interest? That's a question. We should debate that.
That is interesting. Yeah, okay.
See, Stacey? Yeah, so we should talk about that. Yeah.
We should talk about that.
But what is pink sauce? That's what people really want to know.
All right, fine.
Stacey, have you followed the pink sauce thing? I have not fully followed the pink sauce thing.
Yeah, so this creator created something called pink sauce. It's got dragon fruit. It's got oils. We don't even know, milk solids. Who knows what's in there? The issue is it went viral. She started selling it. people started realizing that she was selling it and shipping this, but it wasn't consistent. The nutrition labels that were on it seemed really sad and not quite well thought out. So people started doubting both like the nutrition labels and their content, as well as the safety of shipping something that contains milk and whatnot.
Honey, dragon fruit, sunflower seed oil, chili,
Wait a minute.
garlic.
So this was essentially done out of the trunk of her car, basically?
That's the fear.
Yeah.
Or the basement kitchen.
I mean, look, my son, Salt Hank, sells salt.
But he sells
bought
it
it
through
from
a
a salt
company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
legitimately made salt.
He's not
Got OSHA
shipping it out
involved.
of his thing in the backyard or something. He's like, I found this salt in my backyard. Let me here. So that's the issue. Is
She's
like,
also
this
added,
lady's-
please refrigerate to the label. There was a typo mixing up the number of grams of product with the number of servings. There's 30 servings.
Spelled vinegar.
Totaling 444 grams instead of 444 servings. She misspelled vinegar. Well, yeah, and the video, by the way.
I mean, if nothing else,
gone.
It shows the importance of paying attention to detail when you're trying to establish credibility for yourself and brand.
700
But it's only
bottles she
TikTok.
sold. It's sold out. 700 bottles, big deal. If 700 people get sick from pink sauce,
That's enough to
So
trigger
it's
A
a
lot of lawsuits.
yeah.
it's a gourmet week on the TikTok section here.
Oh, wait a minute. But wait.
But wait, there's more.
There's more.
You can
prison,
see
prison
well,
pizza.
Before you get to that, well, okay, you can do that.
No.
Your choice.
No.
You got two pizza items. Pizza
Pizza
You could
sacrilege.
go to the
Should I start with
sacrilege.
that?
I think
All right.
that's a quicker one. Yeah.
Let's start with pizza. This is on Twitter.
Pizza
A
sacrilege.
watermelon pizza? No. Wait a minute. No.
Too
Oh.
much juice for your pizza.
Oh, that's just. But you see a lot of this on TikTok where they do something else with the crust. Because honestly, the best part of pizza is not the crust; it's the stuff on top of the crust. No, if you want to use watermelon for the crust, no, you're a crust man.
The crust can be amazing,
Yeah, crust
man.
is-
Oh, you're right. All right, I take
Dude.
it back. Well, maybe watermelon.
So then
is
meanwhile-
I want
But you know
bread.
what? Grilled watermelon with a little salt
Yeah,
on
this
top.
sounds so bad.
Freaking delicious.
I don't think this sounds so bad.
Okay, I thought it was bad. All right, so then prison pizza. The New York Times does a story about people sharing prison experience and what they do on TikTok. And here's a lady who's going to show you how to make prison
I'm
pizza.
not going to pay the sound because she looks really noisy and obnoxious. So I'll let you narrate. There's Heinz ketchup.
So she uses things like crackers and V8 and ketchup and other things to make the sauce. She says the sauce is the hard thing to make. But then
This is not an Italian person. I can tell you right now.
we'll get to him in a
Working
minute.
from a commissary, man. Come on.
That's true. You only, use what you.
You can make what
You can
you
get.
make. There's a really good prison book I listened to that goes into this about how you do things.
A really good prison book. So if you have to make pruno now, you have the means.
Yes,
You're
I
ready?
do. It's a book called. It's another one you might actually enjoy reading. You can put it on your list here.
Okay.
It's called. Shoot, where is it?
This sauce is so grotesque. Oh, now white bread. White bread. Okay.
Now she's putting white bread in the bag.
Mush it up. Okay. Take it apart.
Yep.
Her eyes are so blue. Do you think that's real?
I've already scrolled down and she's scaring the crap out of me.
I think there's a filter going on because everything's the same
very
shade.
blue. There's a lot of blue.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah.
But the bread isn't blue, thank goodness.
This is, and we should give her credit. So you can all follow her, Marcy Marie 114, MarciMarie 114. Wait a minute, she's put the bread in a plastic bag, added water. She's now mushing it. So basically, you're turning bread into dough.
She's making a crust.
Dough, yeah.
She's making a crust, yes.
Dough. Oh God.
She's reverse
don't eat
engineering.
this.
So there she has.
Don't eat
Oh
this.
no, you don't want to eat it. No. But the interesting thing is coming up. It's coming up in a second.
If I found this woman on my Ring camera, I would turn it over to the police. She's using a hairdryer
Here's the interesting thing.
in a paper
She's using
bag.
a hairdryer in a paper bag, and as the Times said, it's actually a very clever version of an air fryer.
Yeah.
It is.
You're going to
That's
cause a prison fire. Okay.
So she
And she's
uses a
using-
credit card there to cut up some sausage and a little ham.
I guess if you're dying
totally
for a
respect
pizza,
this.
what is that, peanut
I
butter?
totally respect this.
It's a cheese of sorts.
I like it. I do say, okay, I'm not going to eat it, but it's brown. And she's, by the way,
is that what you're looking for at a pizza?
Yeah, she sits. No, Marcy Marie, don't eat that. Prison pizza, ladies and gentlemen.
So meanwhile, the bad news is the guy we love, he's been told to stop making videos. The Italian guy with the sandwiches, the crazy sandwiches.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Yeah, no, he was told
he
was making the store's life hell because it was getting all these tourists coming wanting to see the famous sandwich
Made
guy.
it too famous.
And so he has a tearful farewell on Twitter. On
right
TikTok.
before he opens his Manhattan pop-up sandwich shop.
Exactly.
Right. In his new apartment.
Yeah.
Downtown.
Yeah.
In his new penthouse apartment. This is the chaotic Italian sandwich man of TikTok. Oh, we showed this where he just slaps stuff together. But I thought he was in Italy. This guy's not in Italy?
Yeah, he's in Italy.
Oh, it is in Italy. Oh, the Italians, they just don't know. He's in Naples. So you can't be doing this, man. You got to stop. Too many people.
If you were in New York,
look at the size of that mortadella. Holy cow. That's one.
He was mesmerizing. I did watch him constantly. He was absolutely mesmerizing because as somebody pointed out, the bread is always different sized.
Yeah. Because it's made
cuts out the
fresh
stuff.
Oh, look at that mortadella.
Slaps it on there.
I don't know what's wrong with that cheese.
What is that cheese?
That does not look good. When you cut off the side and there's not, okay.
Truffles in there, you think? Maybe truffles.
Maybe a little mold. I don't know.
There's cheese and mold.
Oh Lord, it's nothing better to listen to a podcast with people looking at TikTok videos and describing them.
Yeah, I feel like we should move on from TikTok.
Let's move on.
Get a changelog.
Let me just mention the book. The book is called Sentient by Daniel Genis, Genis. A guy who, from his drug habit, he was known. Did we talk about this before? No. He was known as the polite bandit because he felt so bad robbing people. He apologized and apologized and apologized. And then he stopped doing it. He stopped robbing people, but someone recognized him and got him. So he was made an example of 10 years in New York State prison systems, and he vowed to read 1,000 books while he was in there.
10 years. Oh, he read a lot of books. I remember this.
He read a lot of books, which is kind of interesting. But he also talks about things like he's Jewish. So we talked about all the people who converted because they wanted the kosher food. He talked about how they made the food. It's a fascinating book, actually.
So if I go to prison, I should convert.
Yes.
And I should bring paper bags with me.
And hairdryers.
And a hairdryer. Do you think they have blow dryers in prison? I don't think so. No.
Women's prison?
I feel like that's how you...
Yeah, that seems risky. All right, let's take a break, and then I will.
That was our TikTok moment.
I will fulfill Stacey's wildest dreams with a Google changelog.
The Google changelog.
It's Google changelog time, boys and girls. Google is adding a flyover-like aerial view to maps. I thought but it's kind of cool. So it's almost like your flight simulator kind of.
Yeah, only a certain number of major landmarks.
There's the Empire State Building, the Elizabeth Tower featuring Big Ben. That's San Quentin. That's cool.
The Elizabeth Tower? I never knew that.
Yeah, everybody calls it Big Ben, but you tell that to a Londoner and say, "Oh, mate, that's the Elizabeth Tower. Big Ben's the bell."
Oh,
just like that. Just
Australian
like that.
accent, sir.
Love you, Mary Poppins. No, that's my Dick Van
There was
Dyke.
Alcatraz too, where you could make pizza.
Yeah, no, I think that's San. Oh, it's at Alcatraz. You're right, not San Quentin. You're right, it's Alcatraz.
You can't make pizza at Alcatraz. They don't have freezers there anymore.
No hair dryers in Alcatraz.
Oh, okay.
Google Photos, the website is starting to show the backup quality of every image. That's interesting. So it'll tell you.
It's a way to deal with your space too.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
So it'll tell you. Let's hear some examples from 9 to 5 Google. You'll be able to see backed up. This item doesn't take up space in your account storage because it's, something. Then original quality. So it doesn't tell you a lot. Here's one that says original quality 2.1 megabytes. So you're going to get more information about what's in there. Actually, I noticed that already in my Google Photos because I put all of our trip pictures up there. So that's good. You'll know.
How much Google storage do you buy?
2 terabytes. And I have about 500 gigabytes of stuff there right now. It's starting to fill up.
Wow.
Well, put all my pictures there. I do. You ready for the new Google Play logo? It's
the only thing worse than a Google
last week's
brand
Google
change story
stuff.
is a logo change.
But, okay, maybe this is the subsidiary story. It's the 10th anniversary of Google Play.
It's the 9th anniversary of Chromecast. I have a story about that.
Nice.
Oh.
Google Play gets a new logo today to celebrate year 10. I kind of find it hard to believe that it's only 10 years for Google Play. But that's the fact.
Same. Seems a lot longer than that.
Hangouts on Air is back as... This is a complicated story.
Here we go.
Hangouts on Air is back as Google Meet brings YouTube live streaming to free Gmail. Just what you always
Who's
wanted.
on first?
Why do I want to live stream from my Gmail? I don't know, but you can. Oh, here's what Google says.
Okay.
Live streaming is useful in situations where you want to present information to large audiences outside of your organization, giving them the opportunity to pause and replay as needed or view the presentation at a later time. Okay.
Do you agree, chat room?
Whatevs.
Considering that's what we
Air quality alerts coming to your at a glance widget. Let me look at my Pixel phone and see.
That's nice.
Yeah, the at a glance is that widget at the top of the screen. Right now, it's just showing me the temperature and the date. But I guess
it used to be on the Frog.
Right, the Frog does that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got it on my. I assume it'll look similar to my Nest Hub.
Yeah,
thing.
I have AQI on the hub as well. Yeah, that's
it's right underneath the temperature. It's green. It says. Right now it's a 30 AQI, which is not
That's
great.
wonderful. No, that's good. Not great.
Mine is usually like 6.
Oh, man, I'm moving there.
Oh,
that's amazing.
I mean, unless it's wildfire season. And
we get routinely between 20 and 30. I thought that was good. But I guess you're really out of the pollution zone in beautiful downtown Bainbridge Island.
There was an otter in my backyard the other day.
Whoa. You know what you ought to do? No, never mind. There is a picture. Here's a picture from 9 to 5 Google, what you're going to see. 129 AQI. You definitely don't want that. That is not good.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
That's orange. That means don't go out.
Stay inside.
Stay inside.
Google's backyard.
Actually, it means don't go outside and do exercise.
Right.
If you're relatively healthy, you can go outside.
Well, it's something important to us here, especially in the summer when we get the wildfire season starts. Sometimes we can have very poor air quality. I mentioned this a couple of years ago. I got a indoor and outdoor purple sensor so that I could see what the indoor quality was and the outdoor quality was real quickly. Let me just, now that you mention it, let's just check what it is. AQI. My sensor's been down for 97 days. What?
Good Lord.
But the AQI outside's 3. That's good. I take it back. The schools are down too, apparently. It's 0. That can't be right. That's 0. What? That can't be right.
That's what happens when you have a decentralized citizen power network.
What? Yeah, I think there's something wrong. Oh, I know why this is down. We got our house painted. So I took it.
Oh, I thought the fumes.
Well, I just didn't. I didn't want them to paint over the purple sensor. That would
because they will.
They would. I have to slap some paint on that. It'll match the rest of the house. Google Drive, Docs, and other workspace apps are getting optimized for. What? Any guesses?
Chat. Hang on.
Any guesses?
Messages?
Live YouTube streaming?
Nope. Tablets. Android tablets. Android tablets. Maybe Google is going to do a tablet. They remember at Google I/O they talked a lot about tablets.
Oddly.
And of course, as we've always said, the real flaw in Android tablets is the lack of supporting software. So Google Drive will have multiple windows, just like Chrome. You can drag and drop text and images from apps like Chrome and Sheets right into an existing document. Upload files by dragging and dropping them into the Google Drive app. Keep will allow you to insert images, again, with drag and drop. That is you know what, much needed. And maybe this will transform the landscape for Android tablets. It's a good idea. Have some choices.
Again, with them, it's all about value. The low end cost with tablets is people that want a tablet, they usually want an iPad. But
right.
If it's something that you know, a utility wise kind of thing, yeah, go with Android. It's a lot cheaper.
Yeah. So Gali is explaining.
Speaking of Android, Ant, may I ask a question?
Sure.
So last week we had the major news you missed out on, Leo, that Ant had finally had it with his Pixel 6.
What?
Complained and got a new one. And he had the box last week. I've been waiting for the verdict.
Did you get a 6A or a 6 Pro?
No, I replaced the 6 Pro
with another 6 Pro.
Totally fine.
Oh, so you had a bad one.
Oh, yay!
Totally
so
fine.
That's good.
Yeah, I said some nice stuff about it, and then that weekend, right after I said something nice, it totally went to crap, and I requested
the old one.
And
good, and they replaced it. They without questions. They just said
this was a lot of the hilarity last week because others of us might have had to go through 5 or 6 variations and calls and all kinds of
I did a class on how to write a
diagnostics.
sternly worded chat.
The sternly worded Aunt Pruitt.
Wow.
Just got it done.
What's
like
your secret?
that.
What did you say, Aunt? What's the magic words?
Firmness.
Don't say please. Just say do it.
You didn't say something.
Yeah, that's the hard lesson for me. Yeah. I'm like, I can't not say please.
Please can I have a new
That's just rude.
Don't say please.
Or mean like,
please, Google.
I would like
May
to
I have some more?
firmly insist that you provide me with a new handset. Chromecast.
I sent back the other one yesterday.
Good. Well, you know what?
This is my item.
This is your item. 9 years old.
Is 9 years old. And today they said that Chromecast is going to work with Google TV, or Chromecast and Google TV is going to roll out support for live video streaming from your Nest Cam.
Oh, good.
Indoor, outdoor,
so you can report
ones,
your neighbors. Yeah.
and your Nest Doorbell. So, yeah,
Good.
they all will now be supported, and you can see live views from your camera. Woo!
So I couldn't do that before? Okay.
Yeah.
You could do it. No, you could do it on your Nest hubs. But
My
you
hub
couldn't
does
do
it automatically.
Google.
When somebody rings the doorbell, it goes, someone's at the front door, and then shows me a picture.
Right. Now you can do that on Chromecast.
Sorry to hurt
Google
your
TV.
ears, kids. I didn't mean to yell.
Okay.
That's what it does to me. It yells. It's the loudest
Leo,
thing in the house.
You're having like the hat's gone, but every time I look at you or hear from you, I'm just like, man, this guy, I don't know what drugs he's on, but I wish I were taking them.
You think there's something going on, maybe?
Does he have a fever?
Does it hurt and have a temperature? Streaming live video from the new Nest Cams and Doorbell. Okay, cool. That's the one they most recently came out with, which I have, which I really actually like a lot. It has a nice remote.
Doorbell or the cam?
The Chromecast with Google TV.
Oh.
It's not the old one. It's the new one.
Right.
And finally, Chromebooks are getting a new, more advanced Google Photos movie editor.
Yay. I can make more videos for Instagram.
Nice.
Kevin was really excited about this.
Nice.
Yeah, I think Kevin's right.
So this is still just standard cutting and a few filters on top kind of thing.
Yeah, but you never did it locally. The problem was on a Chromebook, you don't edit locally. You're editing in the cloud.
In the cloud, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a service out there that I had wanted to
is it?
discuss
It's,
on the show one day.
What's it called?
I think it's called Axle Edit, and it was all cloud-based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I mention that only you can prevent forest fires? Okay, just checking. And that's the Google changelog.
Feverish Leo.
Mr. Benito, I don't know if you're ready for this version of Mr. Laporte.
I don't know if any of us are.
They've locked me in my office for good reason. Let's take a little.
Walls are rubber.
Well, wait, we just took a break before the changelog, so we can go a little longer. Couple of security stories. A new rootkit, which is actually pretty serious. This is from Ars Technica, Dan Gooden writing. The discovery of a new UEFI rootkit exposes an ugly truth. Attacks are invisible to us. UEFI is the boot firmware. And if you put malware in there, it will persist even when you wipe the drive, reinstall Windows, etc., etc., etc. This has been in the wild since, stand back, 2016. And that's bad news. The firmware compromises the low-level and highly opaque chain of firmware required to boot up nearly every modern computer. Wow. Exotic, yes, Dan writes. Rare, no. Kaspersky discovered this, and I'm sure Steve Gibson will talk a little bit more about this. The most striking part of this, Kaspersky writes, is that the UEFI implant seems to have been used in the wild since the end of 2016, long before UEFI attacks started being publicly described. This discovery begs a final question. If this is what the attackers were using back then, what are they using now?
Wow.
Probably a nation state. It's a fairly sophisticated hack, which means probably you're okay unless you work for a 3-letter agency, you're a well-known podcaster, that kind of thing. Anyway, security time. Watch out. Watch out. In fact, as long as we're talking about that, here was a bug in the coding of Intel's GPU that made them 1/100th times as fast, 100 times slower in ray tracing. And the only reason people noticed is because they pushed out an update, and all of a sudden, whoa, what happened? My GPU
wow, this just got amazing.
Got 100 times faster. Well, that's not because they got 100 times better. It's because they had a bug. A line of code was missing. That's it. A missing line of code.
You know, that's how I approach all my jobs. I start out at
Slow.
1%.
Yeah. Then people
and
are
then
impressed.
once I hit 100%,
Yeah.
they're like, what the heck?
Yeah. Whew. Justice for data janitors. This looks like a Jeff Jarvis story to me.
It is, and I think it's an interesting angle here is that the people, you know, whether it's social or whether it's more likely AI, cleaning up data is going to be key to quality and credibility, and somebody has the dirty job to clean it up, literally clean it. So
We're going to let an AI do that.
But what do you mean cleaning? I don't understand. What needs to be cleaned?
When you have data, so like let's take temperature data. They're cleaning up, they're organizing it. So like if I have a sensor reporting temperature data,
Yeah.
I got to make sure everybody I'm comparing to, they're all reporting Celsius or all reporting Fahrenheit.
Oh.
So it's just
It's
data.
not like sweeping up old data that's on the floor.
Sanitizing.
But it is what they're saying here is there is a human role in going through this data stuff, and the people who do it are usually not employees of Google. They are contract workers, and the burden of AI's quality is upon them, and they're not treated fairly.
Aw.
The human-fueled automation.
They never got invited to the parties, is what you're saying.
They don't get free lunch.
Nope.
They don't get free lunch, health insurance, or all these things. I mean, it's a
They
pretty.
don't get meta days.
Well, they
And
should unionize.
People think this goes back to this idea that engineers are the kings and everyone else is just there to support them. I mean,
Right. Are you upset about the loss of the Choco Taco, Jeff Jarvis?
I've never had one, but
It feels like that's something you'd be upset about.
it feels like something I should be mad about. And now it's maybe Alexis Ohanian can
That's
save it.
hysterical.
Isn't that
So-
great? I think he's serious.
Oh, I'm sure he is. The guy's got a lot of money. He founded Reddit and now is married to Serena Williams.
Serena.
He says, "Dear Unilever," it's kind of gross when you think that Unilever makes the Choco Taco.
I know, exactly.
I think they do it under a better brand name than that. What is the name of the ice cream company? They made and for many years sold in the ice cream truck you knew and loved as a child as they drive around playing the Turkey in the Straw theme song through the neighborhood. A ice cream sandwich that had a folded over ice cream cone with a chocolate sealant inside, delicious melted something. Peanuts. And you take a bite and Choco Taco heaven. But apparently not enough people love the Choco Taco.
No, it's not that. The problem, says the company, is that they just had to reduce the product line because it's so popular, all of their products.
Oh, it's made by Klondike. So they're going to focus on the Klondike bar or something else. Anyway, Alexis says, I'd like to buy the rights to your Choco Taco. I don't know. What is he thinking, though? Maybe like a Choco Taco pop-up store on Fifth Avenue?
I think we finally get the Choco Taco truck on every corner.
Oh, they promised us that, didn't they?
They did.
And then somebody has posted a Dali image of, quote, Renaissance-style painting of a Choco Taco rising like a phoenix.
He did. He promised that the logo would be made by Dali in the next tweet down.
That's a pretty darn good logo. I'm loving it. Although, what is that inside my Choco Taco? Is that chocolate phoenix?
Kind of looks like it's alive. I don't think that one works.
Ew.
What's the green? That doesn't work. No, go down to the next one. Let's scroll down.
Oh, that's not so bad.
The next was pretty good.
Right.
Yeah. He says 100% of our future marketing artwork will be generated by AI. This delicious treat from our childhood will see a new day where it will get the treatment it deserves. I feel like this is it, pulling an Elon Musk on the Choco Taco crowd.
It's just pulling an internet. I'm just going to call it pulling an internet.
Nowadays, it's pulling an internet. He wants to get all the bots out of the Choco Taco. And he's willing to put his money where his mouth is.
Get all the bots out. Oh my gosh.
What about the story, the sad, tragic tale of a 7-year-old whose finger was broken by a chess robot because he was moving too fast?
All over it.
Yeah, I bookmarked this one. This was, of course, in Russia, where they don't have the same OSHA standards for chess playing robots. There's a video, but I don't want to watch it.
No.
This robot has been other places. It's been at many exhibitions for years. I thought even outside of Russia.
Yeah. Sergei Smagin, vice president of Russia Chess Federation, told the Baza Telegram channel, robot appeared to pounce after it took one of the boy's pieces. Rather than waiting for machine to complete move, boy opted for a quick riposte. There are certain safety rules, and child apparently violated them when he made his move. He did not realize he had first to wait. This is an extremely rare case.
Wait a minute. They're putting it on the child?
They're saying the kid was moving too fast, and the robot grabbed him, held him for several seconds before people rushed to help and pulled the finger of the young player from the robot, but the fracture could not be avoided.
Saw the video, but I didn't know they were
in Soviet Russia. Chess robot beat you.
Really, literally.
Well, I didn't know Stacy had an accent, too.
Oh, very good, Stacy.
Yeah.
We need a Russia off here.
By the way, child continued to play the very next day, finished the tournament. But parents have reportedly contacted the public prosecutor's office.
Sounds like I'm going to have a case.
Could be the end of the line for robot.
I think Stacy should do the next story in her accent.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay.
We could do the International Space Station. Stacy, over to you.
Wait, where are we?
Russia says, don't worry. They're going to keep the ISS alive, right? No, they're going to do their own ISS. No more international. Russia's space station. Russia's dropping out. They're going to. It's going to take a couple of years. They're going to continue to fly astronauts up and down because they have an agreement to do so. And I'm sure we'll talk about this with Rod Pyle on This Week in Space. But they said, and this is all due to pressure the U.S. has put on Russia over the Ukraine situation, the invasion. The U.S. and ESA and Russia had announced that they were going to take the space station down, but now they're keeping it running. They had hoped to keep it running until 2030. Russia, by the way, the space agency is run by a political appointee, in this case, Yuri Borisov, which is a great Russian name. Boris Borisov, he said during meeting with President Vladimir Putin, the decision to leave the station has been made. I think by that time we will start forming a Russian orbiting station, right, Vladimir? So,
hey, why not?
It's been this has been a little bit of a problem. A couple of Russian astronauts were up there several weeks ago spouting pro-Russian, anti-Ukrainian propaganda. So this has been a little bit of a hot potato.
It's not a nice neighborhood these days.
It's going downhill.
Yeah.
And when you're stuck in space, there's not a lot of politics can't be.
I think a lot of experts.
It's bad to be on an elevator with a jerk. Imagine being in space with one.
But a lot of experts, including Scott Kelly, who I think holds the record for the longest time aboard the ISS, agree that this is kind of political. It could be more bluster than real. They said after 2024. Well, that's kind of vague. So, can we do the International Space Station without Russia? It's hard. A lot of those support launches come from
Musk,
Roscosmos.
Right? No, not Musk, but Russia.
Roscosmos. The internet is not happy about the leap second. Do you know about the leap second?
I do. Sir. I skimmed over this headline, so I can't wait to hear about this.
So it turns out.
I was like,
over to you, Leo.
Turns out that the Earth is not as consistent as our atomic clocks, which are very accurate. But what they're measuring is the amount of time it takes the Earth to rotate, the amount of time the Earth takes to revolve around the sun. That's a day and a year, respectively. And every once in a while, because the Earth isn't all that consistent, they have to add or subtract, I think, sometimes a second. Usually it's adding a leap second so that the clocks, that they're changing the clocks. The Earth is right. The Earth is always right. But so that the clocks match the actual rotation of the Earth.
It's like when we changed the actual measurement of a kilogram.
That's right.
Remember?
Which has gone through several changes, right?
Yeah.
I remember seeing the official kilogram. I think it was kept in Paris for a long time. I don't know if you saw it when you were there, but they replaced it with some.
Are you going to go back in the French accent now for that?
It looks like I'm wearing Barney. I don't know what this is.
In the green hat.
Yeah.
That's still cool.
I'm stuck in my office, and I have one of the things I have in my office is hundreds of hats. Since 1972, the world's timekeeping authorities have added a leap second 27 times to the International Atomic Time. The way they do it, you may remember this, at midnight on New Year's Eve, instead of going to 23:59:59, they jump to 23:59:60 and then to 0:00. But the computers, think of the computers. It screws the hell out of them. It makes it, because they're not set up to allow for this, and it's not predictable. That's part of the problem. So computer wizards like research scientist Ahmed Bayagawi of Facebook parent company Meta said, we are predicting that if we don't modify the atomic clock, we should be good for at least 2,000 years before it starts to be weird. Maybe at that point we have to consider a correction. By the way, the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, and the French equivalent BIPM, the Bureau International des Poids de Mesure, kind of agree. Because they're the ones who have to do it. They're in charge of the global clock system. In 2012, the leap second change triggered a massive Reddit outage, according to CNET, as well as related problems at Mozilla, LinkedIn, Yelp, and airline booking service Amadeus. Help me, Amadeus. In 2017, a leap-second glitch at Cloudflare knocked out some network infrastructure servers. Cloudflare's software comparing two clocks calculated the time had gone backwards. I couldn't figure out what to do as a result. We're going backwards. So this is a human thing humans do to make our clocks match to the planets. And not good. Not good. Google has an idea. Of course. Google has a fix. They call it the Leap Schmear.
Not the schmear?
The Leap Schmear. It makes the leap second changes in many tiny steps over the course of a day. So instead of a whole second,
you're taking nanoseconds.
You're taking out nanoseconds. Still problematic. But this is a post from Google, the Google blog in 2011, talking about the Leap Schmear.
What the heck?
Who would have thought it? But of course, if you think about it, having the clocks arbitrarily add a second every once in a while is very confusing.
If you're a computer.
Yeah. Usually when the leap second is almost due, the NTP protocol, the time server protocol, says a server must indicate this to its clients by setting the leap indicator field in its response. This is saying, the last minute of the day I'll have 61 seconds or 59 seconds. In theory, although not in practice, leap seconds can go backwards as well as forwards. So when they designed the NTP protocol, they added that capability. So instead, Google says we applied a patch to the NTP server software on our internal servers not to set a leap indicator, but to tell a small lie about the time. Modulating this lie. Oh, now it's getting bad. You tell one lie and then suddenly you got to tell a lot more. Modulating the lie.
You can't count election ballots anymore.
Yeah, pretty soon, the election was fixed. What this did was make sure the lie we were telling our servers about the time wouldn't trigger any undesirable behavior. So I guess Google's been doing this for a while. Maybe they just tried it. In this experiment, we performed 2 smears, one negative and then one positive, and tested it using about 10,000 servers. It worked. Oh, no, so they have been doing this ever since. The Leap Schmear.
So Google's up to speed?
I think Google says everybody should just do a Leap Schmear instead of a leap year. Happy Leap Schmear! Oh, I love the internet.
Almost sounds so made up, man.
It does.
Well, no, it ties to the fact new technology makes us develop more precision about our world. So think about the railroads were the reason why we had to figure out time zones, right?
Okay.
Time zones, yep.
And so if you think about, that, because we're computing everything, we just have to figure out even more granular measures of how to tell time. And so it's kind of cool.
True.
Until we blow everything up.
Yeah. Here is the kibble balance, which is used to measure the kilogram.
Oh, but they stopped that. Now it's just a Planck's constant.
Right.
Yeah, but I couldn't have seen Planck, the physicist.
Mr. Max Planck.
Max Planck.
To his friends.
Doctor
so there used to be a cylinder of platinum iridium, which was the standard.
It was triple locked in a vault, though.
Yeah,
so I couldn't
in
have
France.
Seen it.
Yeah, it was the standard. It remained so until 2019, and then they used physics instead. This is. You want to see the old one? You could go see it. I think you can go see it in France now. This is the old. And notice they seal it because you don't want any palladium to decay off of it. The international prototype of the kilogram. I guess once in a while they take it out and measure it or something, right?
Yeah, you could use that to tell time, actually, based on its level and amount of decay.
Oh, you are very sophisticated.
You schmear the kilogram.
Schmear.
Bringing it a full schmear. All right.
Have you used Be Real? Do you want to talk about it? Do you care? You talked about it last week, didn't you?
Talked about it Sunday.
Oh, on Twit.
Show.
That's right.
Sunday
On Twit.
show.
Yeah, you're right. Don't want to talk about it.
I've been using it here.
I saw that. I keep missing.
Just
so this
to
is
see what it's like.
This is the new social app where you only take a picture when you get a notification. Okay, it's time, and I keep missing my time. I noticed you do too, Ant. And so you
do?
Yeah, because it says he was 1 minute late.
Oh, okay. Because I'm thinking, dang, I thought I did.
Well, maybe not today. I did one yesterday. It was 6 minutes late. So the idea is when the thing goes, you take a picture. It uses your front camera and your back camera. You can show. Can you show this, John? It's my over-the-shoulder shot. You get the front camera and the back camera. Here's Mike Elgin. And so it gets a selfie and then what you're doing. You can't.
Mike's doing this, I'll bet, just perfectly. You would.
John, can you? Yeah.
He has a very interesting life, though. The rest of us
you don't have it
does.
switched in. Oh, there we go. Here's Ant taking a
That's
picture.
me.
See, 1 minute late. See, it tattles on you. The tattles on you.
No, he was
me
just
making
he was
lunch
a leap
yesterday.
second ahead.
Oh, that's it. He's a schmear, just a little schmear off.
He schmeared.
And apparently, Mike Elgin's in jail now, so that's kind of interesting.
Look at that.
Yeah. So those are my friends, and then you can also see what other people are doing.
You can discover.
The idea
people.
is
I
to
haven't done
eliminate the
this,
FOMO,
discovery.
right? Because you see how crappy people's real lives are, except that's, of course, not what happens. You just get people who are very good at making their lives.
Just hang around in the palace all day.
Yes, I'm here in the palace. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to go.
Some of
anywhere.
these look pretty
Boring.
crappy.
Yeah, some of them
I'm
look
enjoying
bad.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Could it
I
be
dig
fun for your friends?
It's real.
Yeah. Like, it would be nice to be with your friends and see, like, oh.
Yeah. So you can follow me
It's really
on Be Real.
amplifying how boring my life is.
Yeah.
Oh, Jason just posted 27 hours late, Jason.
He's always late.
rundown.
I
That's
think
the
he's
cat. that's
trying to
always
help
late.
you out,
He's
man.
doing the rundown right there, saying, "Where's Leo? I don't understand what he's showing. What is he talking about?" So that's cool. And you can comment on it. You can. I'll give you a little thumbs up on your real emoji. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, you can do live.
Oh, I have to do a
emojis.
real thumbs up. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Now,
Who do you think you are, Trump?
I know he's ruined the thumbs up, hasn't
He's
he?
ruined the thumbs up.
Yeah. So I put a real thumb up on there. I'll do that for Mike. Or maybe I'll do a
I
different one for
had
Mike.
someone. I think it was on.
Wait, I
Twitter
want you to
that
do the
mentioned-
crying laughing. Or
Crying,
the loving
laughing?
one? Okay.
Yeah, dude. Someone get some onions.
Oh, man.
Anyway, Be Real. I don't know. You know what? Every 5 minutes, somebody comes up with the next big thing in social.
Yeah, there's always an effort, but
Yeah, I'm glad there's an effort.
as they were
Fun.
Yeah.
someone on Twitter mentioned, they don't like the fact that it uses both cameras. It uses their selfie camera in addition to the rear camera. And I'm thinking, well, why? Is it because they're shy or what?
There is a potential
Does that bother you?
for revealing things you didn't wish to reveal. There's some privacy issues. Because, your camera is getting... Yeah, you're not controlling exactly so it doesn't post right away. You get to review it, but I still think things might leak through. So I understand.
But I like the idea of it not necessarily being all about the numbers.
I agree.
I agree. It's starting out the way like Path did.
Right.
Yeah,
I loved Path.
Again, how long will that last?
Yeah, I was sad that they sold Path and it died. Google has surprised the world with a bid for NFL Sunday Ticket. These are very expensive rights to Sunday games, out-of-market games. DirecTV has them right now. The NFL wants to sell it for more than $2.5 billion a year. It was widely...
I thought that was supposed to be over in June.
It was widely rumored that Apple got it, right? Because, this is the problem, is that broadcast networks can no longer compete with big tech's deep pockets.
Of course.
So Apple, Amazon, Google, all trying to get into sports. And the Sunday ticket is the prime package, although I suspect, there will be others. Formula One is coming on strong in the U.S. That would be a good one to get. Right now, ESPN has the rights to that. So it was thought that Apple had kind of outbid everybody else. Google, with a last-minute bid from YouTube for the rights.
Spoiler.
This would happen next year in 2023. Apple's got to be grinding their teeth. Sports accounts for 95% of the most viewed programs on TV. It's very important.
I wonder what it was before TV got sucky, though. I mean, today
Good
makes
point,
that stat
Stacey.
makes sense.
Yeah.
But
Well, I have not, being a former TV critic, as you all know, former TV guide, TV critic. I, for the first time in ages, just decided the other night to see what's on ABC, NBC, CBS. Oh my Lord, what dreck!
Yeah. No, it's terrible. And not only that,
television.
Drek interrupted by, 8-minute commercial chunks.
Oh, Lord.
So there's no continuity. I mean, it's very hard. We've been spoiled, frankly, by the fact that we can watch stuff on Netflix and
On demand.
HBO Max and Hulu and so forth.
Well, last week, Aunt schooled me because I was complaining that I have HBO and Showtime and I only watch one show on each. And he said, "Well, get rid of them, Jarvis, until you come back to them." And I hadn't thought about it. Now I got to figure out how to do it.
Now, the interesting thing
$1
is this is probably just an interim thing because ultimately NFL probably wants to do the streaming themselves and own all rights. Although it's hard to turn down $2.5 billion a year for some. I don't know.
How do they not own it? I mean, MLB has their own app. NHL does.
NFL announced their new app this week, so they are.
That's ridiculous.
It's hard to turn away that
service they announced.
That packet of money, right? That's a lot.
I mean,
of
that
money.
is my husband. Although he waits until playoffs for the NHL one, but he does pay like $300 for the MLB one.
Yeah,
and
and how much do people
resent it.
pay to watch Clemson football nationwide?
Well, Clemson doesn't have anything like that because it's the NCAA.
Oh, that's interesting. There are colleges
Longhorn Network has
that stream
UT does.
and make a lot of money to their boosters, their out-of-state boosters, because there's people all over the country who care.
Yeah, right now we just have the ACC network, and people buy that package in conjunction with their cable package.
Would you get all your Clemson games? Is that what you do?
Yeah, I see them now.
Yeah,
I see everything now without a problem. And I love it. Gosh, I miss it.
And this just in from JT in our Discord chat. A Google employee is going to get a surprise tonight on CBS's Big Brother. I guess there's a Googler in Big Brother. And it is not, can I just say, it's not going to be good.
Is it a pink slip?
I can't believe that Google, is it Blake Lemoine?
Wouldn't that be funny?
Right, right.
Put him in the Big Brother house.
I can't believe Google Comms would allow that. I just can't believe it.
I know. Well, Renee Ritchie, who was one of the regulars on Mac Break Weekly, took a job. We couldn't tell anybody where he went. He couldn't tell anybody where he went till Comms approved it. Turned out he took a job at YouTube. And I had no idea because he couldn't say. We just found out a couple of days ago. He's going to be their creator liaison on YouTube, which is a good job. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Apple is, according to the New York Times, has the inside track for the NFL Red Zone. Sunday Ticket. Red Zone's different.
Sunday ticket.
Yeah. Amazon, ESPN Plus, YouTube, all in the hunt. This was delayed, apparently, because there were negotiations over a concurrent sale of NFL media assets, including Red Zone, NFL Network, and NFL Plus, which is a new subscription service that provides access to live games on mobile only. I have to think it's the big screen. Yeah. You want the big screen. You want to see it on the big screen. All right. I think we're good. I think we should move on. Anything that I missed? Oh, I did miss a big one. Holy crumb and umly. Did you talk about this? Amazon buying One Medical?
We did not talk about it.
Oh, we did not.
That was on Sunday.
Holy moly.
Because it's not a Google story.
Oh, come on.
Oh.
It's a big
right.
story. So
It is a big
Amazon,
story, but
Amazon created their own kind of healthcare solution, which they said, oh, no, don't worry. It's just for our employees. Now, with a $3.9 billion acquisition of a primary care provider, One Medical, I think it's pretty clear. You know, they bought PillPack, so they have Amazon Pharmacy, a sponsor.
Right.
They have, this is a big deal.
If they can do something to fix healthcare, hallelujah.
Well, do you think they would fix it, or would they just make it expensive or worse? Or
no, I think I'm in a practice here on the East Coast, the largest one on the East Coast, and it's a factory now. It's just awful. You can't get anything.
That's what they've all turned into. Totally what they've all turned into.
Yep.
And that's the insurance problem, right? Insurance is cutting back on the amount of money that they can collect.
It's also scale. Scale hits everything.
Yeah. In fact, because of that, I've considered, as a lot of people with deep pockets have, maybe paying out of pocket for concierge medical. And I was told, One Medical's the one.
Huh.
They're out of San Francisco. They're in Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, L.A., New York, Washington, D.C. This is according to the Washington Post, a subscription-based primary care provider that leans into technology to build what it calls, quote, a seamless combination of in-person, digital, and virtual care services that are convenient to where people work, shop, and live. You pay
It says most insurance is accepted.
Well, but you pay an additional fee, an annual fee of $199.
Oh, well.
Which isn't bad. I think we're rapidly headed. I mean, we got a mess.
This is privilege also coming in
privilege.
here, where the rich people can.
So that's the question. Does Amazon is a for-profit entity? They're not interested in making healthcare more universal, more affordable. They're interested.
they might be interested in making it more accessible to their workers.
Yep.
In a way that might be kind of coercive, or you would worry that could be coercive.
Instead of a union, is what you're saying.
Either instead of a union, or, get treated by our doctors, but their doctors may be interested. If you've got an RSI from working at the Amazon warehouse, maybe they're like, do this.
Yeah.
We have all this data on
to the company.
Yeah, we have all this data on how to improve this. Do this first, and then if that doesn't work, maybe they fire you and then you lose your health care. I don't know.
Amazon also, though, has kind of acted like it wants to get into the healthcare business. It built Amazon Care, which was, as I said, initially for employees only. They bought Health Navigator. They bought PillPack. And now One Medical. I feel like it may be more than just employees, right? But maybe not.
But no, they have a total interest in this space. One, because they're a huge employer. But two, I don't think they're like... The U.S. healthcare system allows middlemen to profit exorbitantly, and it would be silly not to take advantage of that.
The king of the middlemen, Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It says here we're an employee benefit for 8,000 companies, including Airbnb, Allbirds, NASDAQ, and Google.
Oh, interesting. Wouldn't it be funny if Amazon ran Google's healthcare? A lot of information in there. What does HIPAA protect? I mean, if you own One Medical, do you have access to the medical information of all the customers?
On an individual basis? I don't think so.
I mean, aren't you protected there?
Well,
I would hope.
Yeah.
You obviously have the data because you're serving the people, but what you do with it is the question.
Yeah.
Well, you would have data like X number, and it could be de-anonymized, kind of like you would have like X percentage of people have this kind of cost have C-sections every year. So in your practice, you've got 20 C-sections. And the rarer your treatment, the more likely you are to be de-anonymized, right?
Final story.
But it is for rich folks. New York City.
Yeah. A lot of concierge physicians, right?
Oh, yeah.
Final story. We now know the reason all that luggage is being lost. It's black suitcases. If you just didn't have a black suitcase, the head of the Frankfurt airport, one of the biggest hub airports in the world, according to The Guardian, Stefan Schulte, advised passengers hand carry your belongings when possible and use suitcases that are easy to spot. Black suitcases are so common, it's hard to distinguish them from each other, he told The Guardian. Many people travel with black suitcases on wheels, which makes identifying them very time-intensive. Not the fact that you fired 4,000 people during the pandemic and you haven't been able to rehire more than a quarter of that. Not that. Not staff shortages. Black suitcases. Stacy, what color is your luggage?
I have a gold suitcase.
Uh-huh. I knew you did.
And a pink suitcase.
Yep.
And a green
black.
suitcase.
Yep.
But my husband has 2 black suitcases.
Yeah, me too.
And he gets really offended when I suggest he carry one of mine.
There are companies that sell accoutrements for suitcases so you can easily distinguish your black suitcase. Maybe that's what you should do for your husband.
Can I tell you how many stupid black suitcases with bright rainbow ribbons I saw at the Paris airport?
I know.
I was like, come on, y'all.
It's hysterical. You can get luggage straps that you put around them that would then, have...
Right, so United gave those to global services people like me, so you had a whole bunch of people with the exact same yellow thing around the head.
No, that defeats the entire purpose. There was a company making luggage straps with, like, witticisms on them. Like, get your hands off my freaking luggage and stuff like that.
I remember when it was time for us to get luggage again, and I kept telling everybody, you don't spend a lot of money on luggage because it's just going to get the crap beat out of it.
Yes.
And then you want to make it nice and colorful and bright so you can see it.
Yeah.
And it works like a charm. Whoops, didn't mean to hit the button. It works like a charm.
I will. Johnny Jett did a whole thing on KTLA with Rich DeMuro, how not to lose your luggage. I guess I can play this. It's just a little clip.
Doesn't happen to you.
Our friend Rich DeMuro interviewing Johnny Jett.
Travel is bad. Airlines.
And Johnny said, I don't know. I don't know what he said. He said, don't carry black luggage. It's a bad idea. That's all I have is black bags.
Nope. Bright orange, bright red in the Pruitt.
Oh, you have Clemson
household.
Clemson bags. What do you carry, Jeff? You travel a lot, or used to anyway.
Well, for one thing, none of this is my problem because I always carry on. Never check.
Yep.
Pure amateur.
Amateurs check.
Yeah.
That's true.
I have done 14 days in a carry-on.
Amateurs and women.
This is your privilege right here.
Amateurs and women.
You cannot do that if you are a woman. If I wear the same outfit.
Not allowed. Yep.
I can I have checked bags for not checked bags. I don't like checking bags. I don't do it very often. But also, when you're traveling with a child, you have to check a bag. Because the child.
That's true. In fact, Johnny Jett, who was the king of never check, said exactly that because they have now 2 kids, and he has a big diaper bag.
Your privilege.
I always check. I mean, my shoes are a problem. I take more than one pair of shoes. Do you not?
Oh, jeez. What's this?
Jeff's looking like a schlub over here. He's just like,
I wear the exact. I have 20 of these black T-shirts. I have black Boss jeans.
Yeah.
I have black underwear and socks, if you must know, and that's what I found.
Again, but and I'm from a clothing standpoint, I get that. I'm fairly simple, but my shoes typically don't fit into carry-on stuff because I like to take at least 2 pairs of sneakers or shoes with me just to rotate.
That's a smart man.
Travel.
Always rotate your footwear.
Yeah.
He's smart.
So, yeah, I have to check.
All right, check this.
Freaking 14.
Coming up, our picks of the week. Let's kick off the picks of the week this week with Stacy's Thang. What's your thang?
A thang is actually a TikTok account.
No.
You're going to love it.
No.
I know. Yes. All right. Here's my. It's Sec Engineer. It's a security engineer who's on TikTok who does IoT smart home stuff. And
cool.
I don't know if you want to pull him up.
Yeah, I got him right here. Should I Oh, I have to verify my puzzle piece.
You're a robot,
so
sir.
stupid.
Connect your puzzle piece.
Connect your puzzle piece. So I won't play the audio.
Antivirus.
Yeah.
Go to one with the device because he does, and I think he might work for Trend Micro. So that's really don't do that.
Oh, so there's a little plug for AV. Yeah. Oh, look at these.
Yeah,
little...
and this is not the security stuff. Those are for quiet keyboards. But
who was that?
Hope Schwing.
That was somebody who looked very unhappy.
Leo,
what's going on?
You and your TikTok page.
My TikTok foo is failing. All right, let's do it all over again. Click. SC Engineer.
Here, let's see.
Pick a video.
As well as his search history earlier today, it was quite questionable.
Let's see if this works for you. I'm going to change your link to this one.
No, I'm on his page.
There. Okay.
My honeypot was hacked.
Yeah, or just there's
Take
this
the
Philips
Hue
Hue
Hub
offline.
offline.
Yeah, do that one.
All right, here we go.
Or there you go.
Gotta go visit.
And we didn't find out just the other
little touch of Japan in the middle of Los Angeles.
So what happened?
All right, wait a minute. I got too many voices.
I was about to say, what is happening?
I got too many voices. I don't know what's going on.
Even access to your SD card.
Leo, they're all in your head.
We're
not hearing them.
Wait, who are all these people? What? Oh, wait a minute. Somebody else is playing there. What's
you
going on?
got a bunch of things. How many desktops are you running?
LAN access in order to exploit these. And all that's well and fine, but the real concern here was
I like his shelf foo.
Bitdefender sent their findings to Wise back in March of 2019.
Oh, this is that Wise story.
5 months later to fix one issue.
Sec Engineer on the TikTok. Lots of stuff.
So his stuff, like he does, like a lot of what he does is like runs devices.
One of my main gripes was that it has the DNS hard coded into it. It won't pick up my settings. And you're wondering what happens if I block.
I've always wondered maybe we should do our thing like this, on the TikTok.
Well, I don't know how many followers he has or how, I imagine it probably.
Well, he's got a lot more now, thanks to Stacy.
139,000.
Oh yeah, that's a good number.
Yeah.
That's a hefty number.
Yeah, I mean, his stuff is legit, and he.
He's from Trend
Micro.
Micro. So it's Trend Micro linked below. So I don't know if that's affiliate sharing, or if he works for them. I suspect that's affiliate sharing as opposed to. He doesn't say who he works for. Yeah. All right,
but
still,
but his information is still maybe you don't trust him on his antivirus, but when he's talking about port closures and things like that, he's spot on.
Very good. Sec Engineer on the TikTok, SEC Engineer. Jeff Jarvis, not going to do a number this week. Not going to do.
I could do the man who had 39 attempts to get hired at Google and finally did.
Oh, good for him.
Which is a happy ending. That's nice. But instead, I'm going to confess that I woke up yesterday morning and again this morning, ugly crying. Because my hero of the 60s came back on stage for the first time since 1969 at Newport. I know you can't play it because it's music, but Joni did a jam, and Joni Mitchell is just the absolute best. She speaks to my life, and I was just
everything that was wrong with it just go away. I feel like
Brandy Carlisle was there guiding her through it, just doing it brilliant.
So is when you say guiding her through it, is Joni okay?
Oh, Joni's fine. And Joni was singing, and Joni was doing a great job. But Brandy Carlisle did a great job of joining in with her at times, leaving her solo at times, bringing in the whole group at times. She was just generous and brilliant at it. And
she lives near me.
Brandy Carlisle?
Yep, she lives out in
Joni's in
Washington.
not a wheelchair, but a big armchair. So
they're both in big armchairs.
So
this is trying to mimic Joni jams that Joni would do at her home.
Oh, all right.
Where she has lots of people in. She's had Paul McCartney. She's had all kinds of people into her home.
She's the greatest.
Brilliant.
I also love Joni Mitchell. Yeah. Very nice.
It's my youth. You had Winona behind her, just
very cool.
Ugly crying too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we can't play it, folks, but look it up. Look up there's 3 official Newport. There's a lot of people from the audience put it up, and I put it up on my feed yesterday and today.
But this official one is actually quite good.
There's 3 very good official videos, and it is just amazing.
Yeah. There is, if you've not seen it on Apple TV Plus, and I think it didn't get a lot of attention, a documentary called 1971, the year the music changed everything. Joni features in it along with a lot of your other heroes, I'm sure, Jeff, because we're the same age. And 71 was a seminal year in music. Not only the year that Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and Jim Morrison all died at the age of 27, but also some great music came out. It's a wonderful, about 5-part documentary about that year. Talks about the civil rights movement, and it's really, I thought, quite good.
Stacey, Ant, have you listened to Joni Mitchell's Blue?
Oh, yeah.
Negative.
I have a copy of Joni Mitchell's Blue.
Oh, man.
I think I even have it on vinyl.
That was the album you cried to, for sure. They actually talk about Blue, which came out in 71. They talk about Blue and her reason for writing it. So it's quite good, yeah.
Cool.
All right, good. That's a good number. Crying, ugly crying.
Yeah.
Mr. Ant Pruitt, what's your thing?
I really didn't have much, but I said I wanted to make sure I mentioned this one and just give a shout out to my Uncle Mac Arnold. He turned 80 last week.
Uncle Mac!
And they did.
We've seen him before. He performed for us, didn't he?
He was. He's a blues artist.
Yeah.
And just had a very, very great life. He was on the local news. They did the party at the Anderson Civic Center. He gave a shout out to my granddaddy, his brother. It was just really moving to see that.
Was he your actual uncle or?
Yeah.
Your granddaddy's brother, so he's your great uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great uncle, yeah.
Wow.
And that's his wife there.
Oh, and look at that.
And
he
that's
plays
the guitar my grandfather built for him.
Made out of a gas can.
Wow.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
And that's like that's probably a
third. I can see the family resemblance.
Nice. Happy birthday,
just want to give a shout out to Uncle Mac. Looking good at 80. Doing your thing, man.
Wonderful. Ant Pruitt, he's still on the Insta, @_Pruitt. Still fighting the good fight.
I'm over there.
Putting stills
I'm not even going to tell people to follow me over there because you're not going to see what I publish anyway, apparently.
Well, go on to YouTube then. You got a
just go to
YouTube channel
YouTube
too, yeah.
Yeah, I just put some stuff up on YouTube yesterday and today. So
how to get out of the creative rut. That's the latest. Are you in a creative rut?
No, that's my headline. That's my headline video, trailer video.
Oh.
The latest video is actually featuring the one y'all know and love, Queen Pruitt. I just did a little quick short 2-minute video.
Stop and listen.
Stop and listen.
Stop and listen.
Good if you have headphones on. That's all I'll say.
I love it. Ant Pruitt on the YouTube.
Yep.
Jeff Jarvis, put that lower third up so I can read it here. He is officially the Leonard Tao Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York, Director of the Town Knight Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism. BuzzMachine.com. Thank you, Jeff.
Whatever. Thank you, boss. Glad you're back.
Always good to see you.
Yep.
Thank you to Miss Stacey Higginbotham. Stacey on IoT.com. Giga Stacey on the Twitter. Don't forget her podcast, the IoT podcast. She does that with Kevin Toffel every Wednesday.
Thursday morning.
Oh,
well, we do it on Wednesday, but it comes out Thursday
on
morning.
Okay. Somebody's got to edit that thing.
Yeah.
Thank you, all three of you, for being here. Thank you again, Jason Howell, for filling in last week, producing every week. He helps the show so much, more than you know, behind the scenes, as well as in front of the camera. We do This Week in Google every Wednesday, around about 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2100 UTC. You can watch the live stream or listen to it at twit.tv/live, irc.twit.tv to chat. If you're a member of Club Twit, of course, there's a great Discord. In fact, if you're not a member of Club Twit, why not join it? $7 a month, ad-free versions of the show. Our community master, our sergeant at arms, the sergeant with the big arms, Ant Pruitt, is in charge of the community, does such a great job.
The hostess with the mostest.
Yes, indeed.
And I know right now we have our Club Twit event coming up tomorrow at the time of recording this video.
Yes.
And there's someone in our Discord right now watching the show that's going to be a part of that Club Twit event in the morning.
Members Fireside
I'm not going to
Chat.
say who they are.
9 a.m. Pacific, but of course you can watch it after the fact on the Twit Plus feed. Alex Lindsay's AMA is August 18th, and Stacy's Book Club. You still have a month to read Clara and the Sun. That'll be August 25th, and I know you're planning more.
An easy read.
Events.
You should do it.
It's a good read. It's a great book. Really enjoying it. I'm doing it on Audible. $7 a month. What else do you get? Ad-free versions of all the shows. You get the Twit Plus feed. I think it's a good contribution to keeping us on the air. And it's a great community. So thanks in advance to everybody.
You also get access to shows that are not on the public feed, such as Hands on Mac, Hands on Windows, and it's a great value. So
yes.
Join the club.
Micah Sargent has revived Hands on Mac. We had to kill it because we couldn't get an audience. We couldn't get advertisers, but the club supports it. So we can make a club-only version of the show. And should the audience grow, which I'm sure it will, we can go public with that, ad-supported. Same thing with Paul Thurrott's Hands on Windows. Both of those available to you as a club member. You can also buy them individually, $2.99 a month for all 4 episodes each month. Which is also a great deal. All of that at twit.tv/clubtwit. After the fact, we still offer free versions of our shows. Just go to twit.tv/twig, download today's or any episode. You can find it on YouTube. There's a dedicated YouTube channel for this show and all of our other shows. There's also a podcast in your client in your future. Subscribe in your Shoutcast or Outcast or Overcast or Podcast or Podcast or whatever it is you use, and that way you'll get it automatically the minute it's available of a Wednesday evening. Thank you, Ant. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Jeff. We'll see you all next time on Twig. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Listeners of this program get an ad-free version if they're members of Club Twit. $7 a month gives you ad-free versions of all of our shows, plus membership in the Club Twit Discord, a great clubhouse for Twit listeners. And finally, the Twit Plus feed with shows like Stacy's Book Club, the Untitled Linux Show, the Giz Fizz, and more. Go to twit.tv/clubtwit. And thanks for your support.